You're listening to the Boxing Coalition.
And he just broke the guy's heart. The guy had nothing left, and he knew he couldn't last another 4 or 5 rounds.
Ricky Wars just smashed his soul.
What it is, let's get it.
Fuck that, this your test, nigga. You hear me?
Let's get it.
Go kick his motherfucker.
Get that motherfucker in there.
Let's see you do that. Little step back, bang, bang, bang. Little step back, bang, bang.
Bang, 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 bang. Try and stop it. Bang, bang. Here I come. Bang. You want to throw sometime? Bang.
Body shot. Boom, 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 boom. Go to the body. Kill that body. You took his nuts, now you gotta take his arm.
Yeah, take his whole soul away.
Yeah, get out of here, Dale. I'll see you later. Find someone credible. Get out of here.
He was higher than a motherfucker. I'll tell you, he was stoned as fuck.
No, it's only a majority decision if there was an even score. There's no even score here. You're an official, right? You're an official of the state. Well, then you don't understand how to score.
Oh, my God. Unbelievable. The crowd here on Fuego.
He's ready to be whooped, man. He's ready to be whooped. He's ready to be whooped.
And now Acosta has stopped it. Wow. That is going to be controversial.
But you really liked to stand toe-to-toe with him in the 12th round, even if you thought you won the fight. It was all. Did you like that? I love you.
Hello, and welcome to the Boxing Coalition, a place to discuss anything boxing. We have a rotating panel of hosts that consist of Chemo, Mao Alpha, Cam, Daniel Lim, and MV Chu. If you want to have your say, call in on Skype. Just add Box Coalition and get involved in the show.
Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of the Boxing Coalition. My name is Cam. Joining me tonight, Ari Gold Boss, Leon, Hamada, and last but not least, my boy, MV Chu. Hope you guys are well. I guess the big news that was announced last week between this show and last show was the matchup between Floyd Mayweather and Andre Berto. I guess we got to start there. I'm not happy with that fight. You know, I'm sure Hamada's going to try and back his boy Mayweather and say, well, he gave me Pacquiao, so I don't mind him fighting Berto. I know you've said that on various platforms, Hamada. But I'm not happy with this fight. There's a lot of better opponents in the welterweight division, including Mr. Welterweight himself, Keith Thurman. Chu, I'll start with you. This fight finally got announced. We kind of talked about it a few weeks ago. Are you happy with it? And who would you prefer that Floyd fought? Chu, you there?
Yeah, sorry mate, I was on mute. How's it going, man?
Good thing.
I'm not happy, of course. Who would be? It's an easy fight. Berto has been beat by Jesus Soto Corras, Victor Ortiz, among others. You know, he barely beat Louis Collazo. Collazo probably beat him.
Yeah, I think Collazo won that. Yeah.
So, even Mayweather says it's probably 4 years too late. But that's been like the story of Mayweather's career. You know, fighting guys at the right time. That's his secret. You know, a great fighter. I'll give him that. But even Amir Khan says that he's been cherry picking. And this really is the pick of the cherries. The fucking cherry on the cake for his last fight. And I don't really see the point in the fight. Even the undercard fights on the fucking pay-per-view are shite. Who really wants to see fucking Badu George Groves?
I do.
I do.
Would you pay for it?
No, but I'm not going to pay for it. But we don't pay for pay-per-views over here anyway, do we?
Yeah, that's not going to be pay-per-view over here.
That'll be on Sky or Box Nation. That'll be on Box Nation. Sky won't even buy that shit, man. It's true though, isn't it?
Sky be like, fuck that, man. We just spent all this money on Pacquiao, exactly. Mayweather.
We got Paul Smith fighting some next man coming up.
Aye, but even Mayweather says back a few months ago that he was going to stack the undercard. You know, in like these fight hype interviews, he's saying, "Oh, I'm going to stack the undercard." Really?
Actually, London. Sorry to interrupt you, Chu, but London Box made a good point in the chat that Sky love George Groves. So possibly, yeah. I hope not.
Yeah, but they're not going to make you pay £19 for that.
Well, they made us pay money for Bellew Cleverly too.
Yeah, but that's Matchroom, isn't it? That's Eddie's work.
True.
Yeah, guess who's fighting on the same day though?
Who? Which?
The People's Champion.
Oh, marching all together.
No, it's AJ. Heavy
duty.
AJ.
Oh, is it heavy duty?
Taking a break from selling weed.
Oh, maybe you're right, Amanda. Maybe they're gonna fuck us.
Never put it past Eddie.
Make us pay 20 quid for all those bummy fights, and then and to get Mayweather, you have to pay. Ah, shit.
Now you buy AJ and you get Mayweather for free.
Yeah, that's fuck.
I bet he's fighting Gary Cornish on that. Is that right?
Yeah. Anyway, stick to Floyd, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, who wants to see the fight? He could have fought Amir Khan, Keith Foreman, anybody. I mean, there's about 8 guys he could have fought that was better. I think Floyd knows he's shot.
Oh, no. Isn't there officially about 15 or 16 people who are officially better than Berto? Isn't he is he even in the top 20 anymore?
You're right.
I think Berto's ranked at 22 in the world.
Yes, there you go. There's 21 guys better than him, or 20 guys, because Floyd's number 1.
So Floyd says that in MMA, this kind of stuff happens all the time. No, it doesn't.
Not for the belt.
No.
Not for the king of the castle, isn't it?
So that's his justification, and there's no justification. I mean, I think in the past that he's tested himself. He's never had really a kind of fight like this. Even Baldomir, you know what I mean? That was something of a challenge. This is like, I don't know. This is going to be a massacre. Going to be an absolute massacre. And part of me just thinks, oh, I'm not as good as I used to be. So I'm going to take an easy one just to be sure. Just to be sure of getting that fucking O. So all that shit about him saying that his record isn't important and all that shit. He's fucking so terrified to lose. He wants a guaranteed win. And it's a shame, because that is the fight that he's going to be remembered by. That Pacquiao fight. You know, I'm not going to remember him by that if he fights better. And what a fucking shame, because in his prime he was one of the best ever. Not the best ever, but one of them.
Do you think he will go beyond this fight and fight again? You know, try and go past Rocky Marciano's record?
No, I think this is it, and good riddance.
Hamada, no trolling, be serious. Are you defending this fight?
Listen, the fight's garbage. In all honesty, I mean, whether it's on pay-per-view, whether it's on free TV, whether it's in my back garden, it's garbage. It's a mismatch. Shouldn't be happening. But I give Floyd a pass. I can't not give him a pass, because he's consistently fought top guy after top guy, probably since he fought Zab Judah. He hasn't looked back and fought anyone like Berto. So if he wants to go out on the easy fight, I mean, can't blame him, you know what I'm trying to say. Carl Froch wanted to do the same thing, but people are giving him a pass, but people keep using this, Floyd says he's TBE. But you don't really believe he's TBE. I mean, alright, today I saw something where he said he's the best fighter of all time, but you expect him to say that. Why would he say otherwise? I mean...
Well, no, you wouldn't. I don't know. Not many people say they're the best of all time so consistently.
Yeah, but why he's a competitor. He doesn't think someone's better than him. I mean, you know, I'm trying to say, I don't blame him for saying those things.
No, but maybe once he retires, maybe he'll reflect differently on it.
Yeah,
you're right. He's still in competition mode, isn't he?
Yeah, so
you're probably, it's probably fair.
Yeah, I'm trying to say, so I have to give him a pass, man. I mean, he's fought top guys consistently over the last few years. Yeah, maybe people will say, he fought guys too late, or at the end of the day, it happened when it happened, and what can we say? You know what I'm trying to say? People say he fought Pacquiao 5 years too late. At the end of the day, the reason why it didn't happen the first time, I honestly think both of them were to blame. It weren't just Floyd, who avoided Manny Pacquiao for 5 years. I mean, at that time, there was issues. I don't even want to go into all of that, but there was issues, the reason why that never happened. People say he fought De La Hoya and that too late. It's just, I don't know, Floyd just can't win, you know? Like, whatever he does is heavily scrutinized. You know what I'm trying to say? People got
whose fault's that? Whose fault is that he's treated like that?
I mean, I don't know what to say to that.
I don't want to say it.
Defend yourself. Defend yourself, Hamada. He's got you.
Defend yourself at all times.
Obviously, Floyd puts himself on a pedestal, so obviously people are gonna,
but, it's more
look at him in a different way.
It's how he's lived his life, isn't it? Let's be honest. We don't need to go over this, but that, that's part of his selling point, isn't it? That's why he's sold so many, because it's all that hate and all that stuff that feeds, because people don't really tune in to see him fight, do they? I mean, he's never going to be in the best of fights of his style, so, he needs that hate, doesn't he? So he's cultivated all that hate.
On Facebook, Floyd posted a picture of him putting stacks of dollar notes in a bag. It was like, it must have been hundreds of thousands of dollars in like a kind of Gucci bag. And he was saying, okay, this is like spending money. I could just imagine like Andre Berto fitting in that bag. Because he's going to carry him in the fight. He's going to be an entertaining kind of Arturo Gatti kind of showcase.
That's another reason for me to hate Floyd, actually, because he's the boxer who brought man bags to boxing. And now they all walk around in little man bags. Sorry,
I have to admit, I'm not a fan of the man bag.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of the man bag either. No, you're right, Leon. It needs to
another little thing he's done.
The thing with Floyd is also, you can't call yourself TBE and have a showcase fight and get paid tens of millions. Now, I think skill-wise, he probably is TBE. He's literally doing things that you've never seen before in a boxing ring. He's an innovator. He's probably the most copied boxer of all time. I'm talking about guys in the gym trying to do the shoulder roll, trying to do that pull back right hand, trying to do that jab to the body. He is the most imitated boxer of all time, but with that power comes great responsibility. And unfortunately, he's dropped the ball. That's fine, but you can't give him a pass for whatever reason, whether you say it's racism to hate him, or to say that you're hating on his money that he's making, that we're somehow bitter because of the success he's got. No. What you're doing is you're corrupting the sport because you're making lesser fighters imitate you, price themselves out of fights, fight 2 times a year, carry yourself in a certain way, when quite frankly they haven't got the talent of Floyd Mayweather to do that. So you're diluting boxing. You're diluting, because all we've got is like carbon copies of you all up and down the weight classes. You don't really see the kind of variety of fighter that you used to have back in the 90s even. So I just think, for the benefit of boxing, thank you for your time, Floyd, but it's best that you go.
Can I rebut to that though? You're saying that all these guys are trying to behave like Floyd. Floyd paid his dues though. Floyd did what he had to do. He became world champion a year and a half after being a professional. I mean, some of these guys that are acting as that you're talking about didn't accomplish the things Floyd did when Floyd started to act this way.
Yeah, but that doesn't excuse the behaviour.
No, but Floyd earned the right to be in this position. These other people you're talking about, these fighters that are pricing themselves out and et cetera, et cetera.
Yes, I think Chu's trying to say that he could have done more for the sport, for maybe us hardcore fans, but he's done it to to draw in the casual fans to make himself some money. So he's acted in a certain way that hasn't reflected well on the sport at all times. I think that's what she was trying to say.
No, I see Hamada's point. Okay, he's earned the right to do that. That's what Hamada's saying. He's paid his dues. Alright, I kinda get it. And I see what you're saying. However, you can't deny to me that, okay, Floyd recently said that he fought the big three. Pacquiao, Canelo, Cotto. But when did you fight the big three? You fought him 5 years too late. You fought Canelo when he was green. You fought Cotto after he'd been fucking destroyed by Margarito. Now, see the Cotto, I would say it's kind of borderline whether it was prime or not, but definitely Pacquiao, you fucking ducked him for long enough. Canelo, you caught him at the right time, caught him at the right weight. That's how I feel. So all you've got is these guys trying to fucking do all this kind of catch weight shit. Trying to do all this pricing themselves out. Like, Cotto has turned into Floyd. He's a diva now. Like, I never seen Roy Jones try to do that. You know what I mean? I never seen fucking Bernard Hopkins try to do that. I saw, in fairness, Sugar Ray Leonard try to do that. But I never seen Sugar Ray Robinson try to do that. I never seen Muhammad Ali try to do that. I never seen all these other fucking all-time greats trying to fight other great fighters on bullshit terms as consistently as Floyd did. And it's got so bad that you've got average fighters trying to do that to people all the time. Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. trying to fucking mix and match guys and trying to get them into fucking bullshit territory just to win. Just to win a fight. That's what I mean by most imitated.
Ari, what's your thoughts on this fight? Ari, you there?
Sorry, Cam, yeah, I'm here. My phone's messing up. But yeah, it's just a bullshit fight, really, you know. If it wasn't for the decent undercard, I wouldn't even stay up for it. I'm sure he still won't stay up for it, but, you know, I don't really want to talk about it, really. It's just, you know, it's a bullshit fight. Berto, who really got beat up by Lopez. You know, alright, he knocked him out, but he got beat up by Lopez. Come on, man, he lost to Soto Carras. Like, it's ridiculous, really.
No, he did have one arm, though, to be fair.
Huh?
Was it the Soto Carras where he hit his shoulder?
I don't care, he lost.
Yeah, but come on, like, most people would lose if you got you haven't got use of one arm in a fight.
But he lost.
Keeping it simple, Larry, yeah.
I'm keeping it simple. I just, you know, it's just what it is. It's what it is.
Alright, anyone else?
You know, just get him out of it, you know, really. He's done everything. No need for him to do nothing. Yeah. Have your last fight and get out.
Yo, can I just say something that Chu was talking about earlier, which was out of control, when he said something about Canelo and Cotto. Look what Cotto's doing now. He won a middleweight title. It's for you to say, he fought Cotto too late. I mean, that don't make sense.
I knew you'd fall into the trap. Hamada. I knew you'd fall into the trap.
That middleweight shit seriously, man.
Sergio Martinez was a fucking one-legged fighter. So I knew you would fall into the trap. He imitated Floyd. That's the kind of thing that Floyd does. Cotto ducked Martinez for as long as possible. Then he spotted the right moment. And then boom, he got him. So, you know, I'm liking the look of Cotto, I'm not gonna lie, in the last couple of fights. He's looked good. But let's be honest.
There's plenty left in Cotto's tank then, isn't there?
But he's fighting C-level fighters.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Okay, what about Canelo?
That's Floyd's best win. In his career.
No, it's not.
I think so. I think that's his best win. But I think if he was to fight Canelo at, I know it's only a pound, but I've got to say it. If we fought him at a weight Canelo was comfortable at, and when he was like a bit older, I think that would have been a much closer fight.
No,
I'm not saying Canelo would have won. I think that would have been a much closer fight.
It wouldn't be. Canelo still has the same. He's grown up, but he still has the same problems. He gasses after a few rounds. His feet are slow. he still has the same problems. It would never be a competitive fight, Floyd versus Canelo. Even if they fight right now, it wouldn't be a competitive fight.
Yeah, but the problem is Floyd left the asterisk next to that fight by draining him down to 152. So you're always going to have that discussion where if it was 154, would Canelo have done better?
Canelo's lucky he didn't have to come down to 150 because he said I'd come down to 150 to fight Floyd. And Canelo in the previous fight against Trout weighed in at 153. So I'm not buying all this Canelo is drained. I'm not buying it.
Well, if we finished about Floyd, this is a good segue because I wanted to ask each of you, the Cotto-Canelo negotiations / discussions have kind of gone a bit quiet. Do you think the fight is going to happen, isn't going to happen? If so, do you think it will happen this year or next year? I'll start with you two.
Say that again? Sorry, bro.
Just the whole Canelo-Cotto thing. Do you think that it's gone all a bit quiet? Do you think the fight's going to happen this year or not?
I think Cotto's trying to find a trapdoor somewhere. I think Canelo would fight him any place, any time. But Cotto is trying to find a kind of way to put it off, duck it. I don't know, I'm quite worried. I don't really understand why there's such a delay now that Floyd has confirmed that he's fighting in September. I mean, it should really be signed by now. I'm a bit worried, to be honest. I think if anyone's trying to duck that fight, it's Cotto.
Raphael 22 in the chat saying that, Rock Nation have confirmed it and it's set for November 21st and Ward's going to be on the undercard, so I'm interested to see if any news breaks out this week, man.
Everything I just say, just erase that.
I don't know. Until it's official, man, I'm a big Cotto fan, but he has become a diva and I kind of agree. I think he's looking for little things where either he has the advantage or he's getting the big money or some shit, man, because these negotiations are going on for too long.
What about if it's HBO trying to hold it off so they can announce it nearer and nearer to the Floyd fight so people get really, really excited about that fight and try and sabotage the Floyd fight? Because people might think, there's only a couple of pay-per-views, there's 3 pay-per-views coming up. This is the worst fight. That's coming up. I won't go on Monday. Maybe.
That's a good way of thinking. I don't know. I think if people are gonna...
I hope that's the reason, because otherwise it's just some bullshit, isn't it?
Yeah. I don't know about, obviously, in the States, but I think people do a lot what Kev does and just has, a gathering of friends around at the house and they kind of share the cost of the pay-per-view. So...
But if you're thinking there could be 3 pay-per-views in 3 months, right? And it would be the Mayweather-Golovkin and that Canelo-Cotto card. And you could only have 2, or you'd leave the Floyd fight, I think, some people. So, they could be trying some dirty tactics.
No, I think you're right. No, you definitely make a good point. Ari, you think the fight's going to happen?
Yeah, I think it will. I heard as well that it was confirmed. Not fully confirmed. I think it's with the contracts with the lawyers now, but yeah, it mostly will happen. And I hope it happens, I'm not really hyped for it. It's a bit further away than I would like, but, it's a solid fight for this year. We haven't had enough of them, and there ain't that much better out there than, Cotto Canelo, even though it's at a silly weight for the middleweight belt. But yeah.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yep, we can hear you down loud and clear.
Perfect. It's like the first time I've had decent reception in 4 months, right?
The first time you're not on a road trip to anywhere.
Yeah. No, but I want to mention, this might sound a little crazy, but I actually give Floyd a pass for this fight too, as terrible of a fight as it is. If you're making the amount of money that Floyd is, what motivation is there for you to fight a good opponent? There's really none. Which says a lot about, I guess, the way the sport is constructed, but I mean, Floyd has proven everything he's possibly can. I mean, what is a fight against Thurman, against Brook? What does a fight against these guys do for his legacy in 10 to 20 years from now? I thought Thurman would have been that guy that could have said something about Floyd, but, after these past 2-3 fights, do you guys really think a victory over Keith Thurman is going to make that much of a difference in terms of how people view him?
No, but at least try and fight the guys and show the people, fight the guys that are close to you in the rankings and convincingly beat them, and then people will have less ammunition to kind of fire against you, I suppose.
That's totally true. But I just, from his perspective, I know we're not supposed to do this as fans, but just if you were in his shoes, I mean, what motivation would you have? Like your last fight on your contract, you're 39 years old. I mean, why would you want to fight a young, hungry lion, as he likes to say? But it's true. It's a terrible fight. But I think the only saving grace of this entire year is that Canelo Cotto fight. And I'm kind of surprised. I don't know why you're not that hyped for it, Ari. It's like the only good fight this year. And it's the anchor of this entire year. I mean, everything's riding on that one fight. Because I think this year's been absolute shit. So that's just my take.
But this year's weird. We've had decent matchups, but the fights have not really.
We've had no real great fights.
But what have been the good matchups though?
I think
Provodnikov,
Massise was good on paper, but it was too one-sided.
Okay.
I think
Porter, what's his name?
Bruno.
Could have been a better fight, couldn't it?
But for me, Leon, what entirely ruined that fight, and surprisingly didn't have much of a bearing on that fight, which is really ironic, was the weight class.
Yeah. But on paper, it still should have been more than what it was.
Yeah. Okay. So then, outside from those two fights, then what is there?
Kovalev Pascal was a good fight on paper, but you always knew.
Was it?
As good as he could get? Then let's put it that way.
Right, but that also goes into the disappointment factor for me, though, because it was just, oh, fuck Pascal. It's not Superman. It's not Adonis, so.
Pacquiao, Mayweather was good on paper.
Right.
Did it emerge?
And then that fight just had a terrible impact on the sport, but.
Wilder.
Yeah, that was a good fight on paper.
Cam, let me ask you, do you think this year, I mean, up to this point in time, do you think it's as good of a year or worse than last year, which most people consider a pretty bad year for boxing?
I actually think this year is worse than last year.
And that tells you something, right?
Yep.
Nah, come on, man. Last year was terrible. Last year was showcase fight every week, man. I think you lot had highest expectations for 2015 and it's kind of let you down. That's why you're saying that.
Possibly. Maybe we were thinking that PBC was going to save us, and we got some of these matchups, but they didn't live up to expectation.
And we got the biggest fight of all time, and it was.
But the thing is, I feel like that was a bigger negative impact on the sport because of how much of a letdown it was.
Yeah, I agree.
Like that fight in a nutshell turned away so many people from enjoying the sport, I think. Right, because it was the most hype fight of all time. It was the most viewed fight of all time in terms of pay-per-view, eyes, so to speak. And just the backlash of that fight was so bad. Like, it probably set back a lot of things. And again, it was just an extension of PBC in general. Like, PBC to me is, I really can't describe it. But whenever I watch their broadcasts and I watch their production, like, I get this sense of boredom or a sense of letdown even before the fight begins, It's just something about it. I'm not quite sure what it's trying to be. And it's kind of sad because it's the most popular, source of fighting that there is in boxing right now. It takes up like 75% of all the fights,
If they've taken all the surrounding drama of a fight, all the stuff that surrounds the actual fight, they've removed all of that, and that's where half the story comes from.
And for me, when I watch PBC, I have this feeling that none of these fights that I want to see are going to happen, and that's a disconcerting feeling in my opinion, when you're so hopeless that the fights that you want to see aren't going to be made. So,
I think it's getting better. I think it's getting better. I think from what it was originally, which is the Hans Zimmer music and the kind of walking down to the ring on their own, I think they no longer walk down to the ring on their own. They have their own music. They're listening to the fans a little bit more. I think that is scope for progress. But to be honest with you, I see your point.
But what about the fights though, dude? That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the matchmaking.
Yeah, I agree. I agree the fights are bullshit. No, I mean, above anything else, it's the fights. I could give a fuck if they fought in a car park. You know what I mean? But that's, a car park is what's that in American? That's a fucking parking. I could give a fuck if they fought in a Burger King parking. You know what I mean? As long as the fights were good. But they're not.
Yeah.
They're too one-sided, and there's like a kind of, they want the desired fighter to win. Like I wasn't on last week, that Paulie Malignaggi Danny Garcia fight was a fucking joke.
It was, oh my god, I was on last week either, and I mean, come on, man. Danny is the guy, like, I'm a Danny fan. I like Danny. I respect the living hell out of him for sustaining what he had to go through against Matisse, but like, that guy had all the motivation and hype in the world and all the backing after that Matisse fight, and look where his career has led him to this point. You know, that's on Al Heyman. That's on his promotional team.
And, I mean, Paulie Malignaggi, what can you say? He's like a one-armed man who's got 4 fingers missing.
He's just a fucking pussy, man. That's all he is. Fuck Paulie. You're gonna talk all this shit against, of course, Manny Pacquiao, my favorite fighter. But even beyond that, you know, he's just a walking contradiction. You know, he just spews bullshit out of his fucking mouth. And the most shameless part of it, after everything, was him conceding after the fight that he just, you know, had this fight essentially to get a paycheck. You know, the guy's a fucking pussy.
I don't know if you listen to his podcast. Do you, Dan?
I certainly don't. I mean, I'm not a masochist, so I don't listen to it.
I listen to it and I enjoy it, but he's got a side to him which I don't like, and that's basically even after the after the loss to Danny Garcia, he's still talking shit about Pacquiao. Like even on the podcast, he's making little kind of subliminal kind of shots at Pacquiao, like, clean fighter, I'm a clean fighter. Both of us got drug tested, you know, like, VADA. He's like overemphasizing all that shit, taking shots at Pacquiao. I'm like, man, you should have been on drugs. You need them. You fucking, if anyone needs a fucking steroid, it's you.
I agree.
You know what Paulie Malignaggi's like? He's like going to do an armed robbery and then finding the safe already cracked open and all the fucking hostages already blindfolded. You know it's a sure win. You know there's not going to be any resistance.
No, but you know what, True? The crazy part is, I have such, my faith in Danny Garcia has been just declining so rapidly that I thought Paulie was going to give him a good fight. That's how little I view of Danny. Just the fact that Paulie can move and has a jab, I thought he was going to give Danny issues, and clearly that wasn't the case. But again, it just goes back to this fucking PBC matchmaking, man. But
he's good at jabbing and moving his feet at the same time. You know, when you move your feet, guys like to jab. The jab is like covering fire while you get into position. He's good at that, but I know from like 30 seconds into the fight that his legs are gone. Like, if his legs are gone, then he's got nothing. Right. He's actually got nothing.
Dan, what's that clicking noise? Are you clicking a mouse or a computer keyboard?
Yeah, I'm actually at work right now. I'm actually cleaning up some files as we speak. Carry on. I'll try to keep it, I'll try to tap next. That's just my fury at PBC. That's why I'm clicking so loudly.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Alright. Ari Hamada, let's talk about some UK stuff. The Brook fight's not been announced yet. Do you think it's just Hearn playing hardball, trying to get Chavez over cheap, or do you think that fight may not even happen?
Are you gonna go?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I feel glass this week, man. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know, I think it must be Hearn. You know, Hearn. But I guess it's the Chavez fight. I know he's pressured. He feels pressured. He knows it can't be another dud fight for Brook. Can't be 3 in a row. You know, like I said beforehand, even now, it'll be ridiculous if he's not fighting a top 10 welterweight in his next fight, you know, after 2 warm-up fights really after his, the leg injury. Chavez is the bare minimum, really, If it's not Chavez, it has to be someone like a Furman or one of them kind of guys. It has to be, because obviously something's happened to Rios. Penny, like you said, he's being cheap with Rios. Rios isn't coming over. It looks like Rios is fighting Bradley now for the WBO belt instead. Aram's keeping it in-house. Most of the Arams are happy about that as well. But yeah, it has to be Chavez. And again, I don't know. Maybe it's got something to do with Fury. I think they're gonna try and double up that card to sell it on pay-per-view or something like that. So I think maybe he's waiting to see if Sky get Fury, and then he'll make a Brook fight and try and put Brook on the pay-per-view on that or something like that. But I thought it was going to be announced by now. We've been told it was coming for ages now by her, and he keeps delaying it. So obviously something's going on in the background. But he needs to fix up and announce this fight.
They're saying this week sometime, aren't they?
Well, they've been saying that for like 3 weeks.
I know. We're going to get Brook Gavin 2 at this rate, aren't we?
Nah, I think we'll get the Chavez fight, and I think that's a decent fight. He's a dangerous guy.
Fight.
He's for good opposition. But I think the reason they're chosen is because, his paydays against like Bradley and Rios was quite low, weren't they? So it's monetary terms. Yeah, monetary terms is perfect for Hearn. It doesn't have to pay much, but gets a credible guy that's relatively dangerous. So I think.
But the bad thing about it is that his mandatory now is going to most likely be an easy fight, which looks like it's going to be Bizier versus someone I've never heard of.
Are you joking? But Bizier's the guy who lost twice to the other bum.
Exactly. Because apparently, Devon Alexander's pulled out of the IBFs. So I think it might be Bizier versus someone called Frederick Lawson. I've never heard of him. I don't know if any of you have heard of him. So
see
Brooks' next mandatory is going to be a nice, easy one.
That's Heyman setting traps, though, isn't it? Like pulling all of his fighters out of the mandatory positions, so Brook can only have shit fights. So that means he has to go to Heyman to get the good fights.
Yeah. That's a sign. Yeah.
He's Ghanaian, but his last 3 fights have been in America, but he hasn't fought anyone yet. This guy, but he's undefeated. But
if he ends up, we'll be fully glassed if he has to fight one of those guys after.
It looks like he will. Unless the IBF change, make a better person.
To be honest though, I can't really shit on anyone if their mandatories are shit, because they just, what can you say about that? If you get told to fight a shit guy, then you gotta fight that guy. It's only when you fight a shit guy, and then you got a few voluntaries, and you fight another few shit guys, that's when you can start complaining. But if he fights a shit guy for his voluntary, I can't really say anything. But we kind of expect that from Eddie Hearn these days anyway.
Yeah, no, because he got there being a voluntary, so he always respects, the voluntary fighters and stuff. So it's just another way of making sure he can get easy fights.
Can I just play devil's advocate the last couple of weeks when you guys have been shitting on Eddie Hearn?
No.
Yeah, I can. Eddie Hearn's been doing a great job. Don't get me wrong, the fights could be a little bit more competitive, but, the British scene is buzzing. In fairness to you guys, I think he's acknowledged that a little bit, but what do you want as a promoter? Do you want a full stadium? Do you want...
No, yeah, I think we've been fair that we know he does a great job promoting the actual fights. It's just the quality of the fight that he's actually promoting.
Yeah, like his next card, that's we're gonna be seeing. That Leeds card is looking terrible. He's taken out McDonald versus Parodi for the European, and now we've got Murray making shotwaves again.
Yeah, I think Gavin's going to be helping his brother out.
He's got Murray. He's using Murray like he's Milner or something. Like he's a well-rounded guy who get the job done. But really, he's just bringing him in every second. Every time he needs a card fix, he brings in Murray versus another Latvian.
Did you say Milner?
Yeah.
I think even Eddie Hearn is feeling the effects of Al Heyman. Al Heyman has saturated the market. He's done something to the market where everybody is overpaying fighters. So all these fighters are expecting expecting something, they're valued to be a little bit more than what it probably is. So as a consequence, he has to have a shit card.
You guys remember Championship Manager? When you could buy a decent player that was a defender, a midfielder and a striker, and he was good. Like, that's what fucking Martin Murray's at the moment. He's just getting used in every position just to kind of, we got Martin Murray in the card.
Milner.
Yeah.
He's Daily Blend. That's what he is. And this card is terrible, Chew. I think you need to see this card, Chew, before you say all that, This card is actually terrible.
Tell me the card. What is the card?
Warrington versus Bronca. So Warrington fighting Selby leftovers again. Callum Johnson versus Tony Hill, who's lost 3 fights, 13 wins. Townsend I've never heard of first. That's a nothing fight. Stuart Hall versus TBA. Martin Murray versus TBA. Yafai versus TBA.
That's an appalling card.
That's terrible.
That's one of the worst cards I've ever heard.
I mean, I don't fuck with
but we are Leeds. So,
Chemo's going to be tuned in to watching that card.
I mean, there's probably fights in the stands that are more competitive than that card.
Breaking out with 2 drunk guys.
Football used to have that player cam with a red button. We need like a crowd cam for that fight, for that card. fuck the Warrington fight. I want to see what goes off.
Guys are going to be getting glassed.
There'll be chairs flying and everything. Beer bottles.
Yeah, they're going to be selling the beer in plastic in it just in case.
See, if I wanted to train a sniffer dog, I'd take it to a Leeds show.
Find a lot of contraband.
It can smell too much. It wouldn't know which person to go to.
Kilbrook. What is it?
Oh, shit. You might even find the machete.
Yeah.
You quickly find one of those Salem brothers, though.
One of those jet-setting dogs.
Yeah.
Nah, okay, it's a shit card, I acknowledge that, but I mean, it's a consequence. He's got a contract to fill on Sky.
It's not a consequence because he's got enough names. He owns, he's got half of England.
I mean, let me ask you a rhetorical question, because I know the answer. Why does he need to do so many pay-per-views?
Because he likes to fuck.
Because to get his guys to fight each other, he has to pay them well.
Don't you see what he's doing? He's saturating the market, making weak cards. Come on, Chew, we've gone through this. And then anytime it's a nice card, other than that Manchester card that just went, we've been paying for it recently. The O2 card, it was a solid card, but it didn't have to be pay-per-view. We've gone through it again recently, but, he said that, to get, Linares over and to get, Gradovic over, it had to be pay-per-view. That's how Hearn says, that's how he goes on now.
But he was only one match.
That's pay-per-view, but, before we got guys like Butte over and, but that's how it is now, but I'm not paying for it.
The problem with that card is that if he'd got Kelbrook a good fight, that would have been a perfectly fine pay-per-view card. It's just he didn't get him a good fight. That was the major problem with that one, wasn't it? If he'd been fighting, even if he'd been fighting Chavez, that would have been an okay pay-per-view card, I think. Don't you?
Yeah.
2 world title fights, Big AJ, Cheeky Nando's, bit of Bance.
Yo, I definitely want to talk about AJ and Dillian White later on, but I mean, sticking to this subject, you're basically saying, Ari, that Eddie Hearn is doing what Al Heyman is doing in America. He's really kind of pricing out Frank Warren. I don't really see that as a bad thing. I think Frank Warren's a cunt.
Well, it's not new. He took all of his best fighters like over 2 years ago.
Yeah, I fucking despise Frank Warren. Everybody knows that. He is a guy who will literally fucking bankrupt a fighter who left him because he didn't pay him. You know what I mean? That is despicable. Say what you want about Eddie Hearn, at least he pays his fighters.
And
you don't have to watch his cards.
Warren did that out of spite. He had no need. He didn't need that money. Didn't need to do that to him.
But that's the kind of reptilian cunt that Frank Warren is. He's
There you
like,
go. Yeah.
he's
I'm
like,
agreeing with you.
yeah. Well, we're in agreement.
There we are. That we are.
Eddie Hearn is really the lesser of two evils.
I think that's a fair description.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I was talking in the chat. Tony A was asking some questions about, BT Sport and if they're competition to Sky, but no, not really. At the moment, they have a weekly boxing, magazine style show, and then they show the ESPN cards that are PBC, and that's about it for now. Sometimes they might show some amateur boxing, but that's about it.
They're never going to go into domestic, British boxing because Hearn's got everyone.
Yeah, that's the issue.
Even if they brought Box Nation, it wouldn't be worth, domestic side of Box Nation is incredibly poor, isn't it? I mean, I have it to watch old fights and American fights. I don't know about you, Cam. It's not like, although there has been, he's got that Lee Saunders fight is a great fight. I'm really looking forward to that. That'd be a great atmosphere, but it's not a stellar roster, is it, on the other side?
No. Not really, and probably discuss this in a bit, but like the Tarver Cunningham fight this week on Friday, it's on Spike UK, but it's not getting shown live. It's getting shown the next day on a repeat, which is quite disappointing if you're a boxing fan.
Very disappointing, because they did, with the Khan fight, they just brought the international feed and they had no one presenting it, didn't they?
That's all they need to do. We don't need presenters. Exactly. We just want to watch the fights.
Exactly. So I can't imagine that would have cost them much to stick on air. They could have sold it. Yeah. So that's really frustrating, isn't it? Because then you just got to try and duck everything until midnight on Saturday.
Well, you can stream it.
Oh, yeah, but I could stream it, but I just don't, I always fall asleep when I stream shit.
Yeah. To be honest, it's not really a card to sit up for.
No.
Yeah.
But the point is, it should have still been on Spike. I should have had the choice to watch that live on my TV. I think that's the point, isn't it, Cam?
That's the point. And I just wanted to quickly mention, there was a few comments last week saying that we've been a bit salty about the free boxing, but just to clear up for, the people that are not in the UK, for PBC have been shown on 3 different channels. It's been shown on Sky Sports, which you have to have a subscription for. If you want a few decent TV channels and Sky Sports, you're looking at least about £45 a month. And then Box Nation has had a few PBC cards.
That's £12 a month.
Yeah, if you want HD, that's £12 a month. And then BT Sport have had the ESPN cards that I mentioned earlier. And that's either free if you have BT phone line and internet, or you have to pay, I think I'm not 100% about the fee, but
I think it's £20.
Yeah,
even I have to pay for it now because they got Champions League, so now we pay £5 a month.
Yeah, and that's the issue, it's hard, to have all these different platforms. Then you have to have your internet, you have to have your phone line, you have to have the line rental, and that's just entertainment. That's never mind your house bills, your water rate, your electricity, your rent. You know what I mean? So, a boxing fan in the UK is expensive.
And we're not being salty. We're being more honest because we're having to pay. It's not like we're picking a side because it's free. We're going, oh, that's great, it's free. That's a real advantage. We're having to pay for this stuff anyway. So if it's a shit fight, it's a shit fight. So
let me tell you something.
Free boxing is not free for me. So I don't give a shit about that argument. I care about the fight.
What are you going to say, Chu?
I agree. And no, let me say something. Yeah, with no other form of entertainment would you pay for such a shitty, look at it. Like, I don't go to the cinema and watch it through a fucking keyhole. You know what I mean? I'm paying for boxing and watch it on a fucking 2-inch screen that cuts in and out. Sometimes I get English commentary, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I get fucking Mauro Ronaldo and fucking and others. You know what I mean? I don't want to watch fucking a fucking concert with a fucking bag over my face. I want to see boxing on a big TV, chilling out on my couch. Hopefully with a beer, hopefully with some fucking popcorn. You know, fucking relaxing, you know, enjoying it like I can enjoy football, like can I enjoy any other kind of sport, TV show, movie. So, the boxing fan, like I've said before, you really need to hunt for it. You need to have compromises as a boxing fan. And it's a shame, it's really like a gap in the market. It's crying out for someone, a businessman, to really consolidate all these fucking boxing fights and put them on a platform that is best for the boxing fan who isn't living in America.
I grew up with boxing on terrestrial TV in the late 80s and early 90s, and it didn't make their shit fights any better because it was free. They was just still shit fights, right? That's all I care about, and now I'm paying for it more. It gives me even more right to be salty. I'm paying for it. So
you're paying for it and getting less quality.
I can fucking moan about it because I'm paying out money every month for this shit. So if it's shit, it's getting it.
Yep. All right.
That's why I'm salty. My cable bill's $200 a month, man.
Yeah, but you're rich though. You can afford it.
Man. Rich? I'm broke as shit, man. I make decent money, but everything goes right to all my bills, and cable's one of the biggest ones.
Kev, your line's a bit bad. You want to try ringing back?
Yeah, I hear you.
All right. Just while we wait to get Kev back, because I want to just quickly discuss the Kaitrov fight with him on Showbox on the weekend.
Yeah, he's gonna come on and defend his boy.
I think Kev will be real about it. Kev, are you back?
Nah, he won't be real.
Yeah, is the sound any better?
Much better.
Yeah. Alright.
I want to discuss the Kaitrov fight with you.
Oh, and Sergey, both of those guys.
Yeah, both the fights.
Yeah.
Mainly Kaitrov.
I spoke to you. I spoke to you over the weekend, and I thought you were being quite real about it. What did you think of Kaitrov's performance? I read something about like his stomach bug kind of situation. Do you believe that? Do you got any inside information?
Nah, and I'm not sure about a stomach bug, but my thought was he overtrained. Like I said, he fought 4 times in the last 7 months, like 7 times in the last 11 months, and these guys train hard, and in sparring, they go hard too. But the thing with him is he just went out to Cali for a couple weeks and was doing all that new age training and doing all the swinging with the sledgehammer and the tires and all that extra shit that I don't think he ever did. And sometimes when you do that type of stuff, it breaks you down more than it builds you up. Like that might be something you do in a mini camp, like 4 weeks before you go to a regular camp and take 2 weeks off in between to get your legs back,
Yeah.
But I always said, remember, I think it was after the Coley fight, I said anybody who has a good jab and who's slick is going to give him problems until he's able to break you down and get into you. So same thing with like when I said about Lundy going 12 against Delorme. I think Kaitrov's a better fighter in 10, 12 round fights because once he gets your movement, the slow, then he's going to be able to be on top of you,
Yeah, I was disappointed with his lack of jab. He was just trying to just go lead right hand a bit too much and,
But even when he threw the jab, like he threw it at the guy's like left chest and like just kept it out there until he got hit with a right hand.
For the first 4 rounds, I was really impressed with Brinson, but I think it was a combination of taking a few big shots, and I think he kind of gassed a bit as well.
Yeah, but the thing is, when you're under that much pressure, when you're throwing that many punches and the guy's still coming forward, that takes a lot out of the guy when he's using that whole ring, moving backwards, throwing punches the whole time. You can't do that for 12 rounds unless you're an elite athlete, like a top of the line guy,
Yeah, but I would have thought you'd be able to do it for 8 rounds.
Yeah, exactly. If you're a pro and you're making decent money, you should be able to do that for 8 rounds.
Yeah.
Agree. But he's always been slow. So he's always been slow, but like I always said, like if the guy's tricky for him, it's going to be a problem until he can break him down, because he does do good body work and he does throw accurate right hands. But if the guy's too fast, it'll be an issue. But he spars with guys like Danny Jacobs and those guys, and they ain't having their way with him. And I just think he was slow because if you watch any of his training footage, he likes to come at you, throw 1 or 2 punches and do that side pivot and turn and throw another couple punches. And he wasn't doing any spinning. He wasn't pivoting anywhere. He was just following around the ring.
Yeah, he was.
And that's why I thought like he just had no legs and he was dead.
Yeah, he wasn't even cutting the ring off as well, but, Brunson's movement was pretty excellent. Let's talk about...
That sometimes you train real hard and your legs you show up one day and your legs feel like you're in mud and you're not moving fast, No,
that's happened to me. Like, you go to the gym and you just feel, your legs feel heavy.
Yeah, and, if you don't peak at the right time, you only get one night to fight.
Yeah.
And obviously the more impressive guy is Sergey, and I always said the issue with him was he was too small because I told you those guys don't cut weight, but now he finally cut down to 160 instead of staying at 168. Because I see him spar Shorty one time in the ring and they looked like they were 2 weight classes apart. Now it makes a little more sense,
Yeah, I think that's the first time I've seen Sergey Derevyanchenko, and, I was really impressed.
He was on the same card as Kaitrov last time on Showtime. He fought right before him, and he looked better. That's why he got the main event now.
I remember. I just didn't see that fight, though.
Yeah.
I didn't see that fight. This is the first time I've seen him. I was impressed, I thought he broke Ayala down quite convincingly. Possibly maybe could have stopped him, but, I went for first round knockout. I looked at Ayala's record and I thought, this guy gets stopped quite easy. I don't know whether he's cold or what. So I went for first round knockout, so I lost a lot of points this week.
Yeah,
I went first round as well.
When I saw, I know I commented, I think it was two fights ago that, Kaitrov, he has the knockouts, but he doesn't have that big knockout power like Curtis Stevens is a better puncher.
Yeah.
And I think it was Nothing for Something replied to me on Twitter. If it's not him, I'm not calling him out or nothing. Somebody replied to me on Twitter yeah, KH says he has no power. He's 8-0 with 8 knockouts or something. But I'm like, I didn't say he has no power. He's going to wear you down. He's not going to one punch put you out, either one of these guys, the way a Curtis Stevens would. But I feel they're both much better fighters than Curtis.
Yeah, it's more of just the amount of punches you're taking rather than that one big shot.
Yeah, but Sergey looked explosive. His feet were moving, and that's usually somewhat like Kaitrov looks like, and his legs just weren't moving.
Well, the commentary team made a great point about his balance, and I thought his balance was really good. He always seemed, when he was letting shots go, he always seemed his body was in a good position. He would just take his lead foot out a bit and I was really impressed with him, to be honest.
And he never really throws one punch at a time. It's always multiple.
Exactly. That was the problem with Kaitrov, I thought. He was looking for one shot most of the time. And
that's the thing. He likes to throw that one shot, land clean, and then he likes to pivot and throw 2 or 3. And if he doesn't land that first one...
One thing I want to ask you, Kev, is that their trainers that were speaking to him in English, I didn't see any translators. Do they understand English?
Yeah, I've only been around them, like I said, I think maybe 5 times in the gym, and I never really saw them speak English except nodding. So, I'm sure they understand a little bit, but I don't know. They've been around a while, and they've been working with, Andre and Gary Stark for a while, so maybe they do pick some stuff up and understand. I'm not sure.
Cool.
But I don't know. I didn't really hear. Sometimes you hear people behind them talking, and translating, and I didn't hear any of that.
Cool. All right.
And even in one training video, one that I posted, it's Stark on the apron with a translator saying, "Tell him this, tell him that." And that was only a year and a half ago, that video. So if they picked up English that quick, man, that's good for them.
Maybe they go to night school or something.
some school in Brooklyn, wherever they're at. But they didn't over impress, but I wouldn't be too far down on them until they get into 10 and 12 round fights.
Yep.
You see a showbox, it really shows the kind of year boxing's having when the showbox cards are the most competitive.
Yeah, I said that to Cam. I was like, I love showbox. It's the only cards that I like now. It's it seems because they have competitive guys that get matched tough. They get prospects matched tough, and that doesn't happen anywhere else but showbox.
I like their commentary team as well. They got Steve Farhood. I can't remember the older guy's name, and they have Raul Marquez. And I think all them three, they work well together. It's a good mix of
was it Al Bernstein on there?
No, not this week.
Oh.
I think they got a good mix of technical.
Oh no, it's the guy who used to do HBO before Lampley. What's his name? Tompkins?
Yeah,
Barry Tompkins?
Barry Tompkins, that's it, yeah. And I think they have a good mix of technical and just, overall calling the fight pretty well. I was like,
yeah, I guess the major controversy was the Kaitrov won scorecard. The one guy had him down 7-0 going into the 8th round.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I think most people scored it like 4-3 going into the 8th round for the other guy, not
Brinson.
for Kaitrov. I think I had him down 4-3.
I had him down 4-3. They were giving Kaitrov like, I think they give him the 7th as a 10-8. I didn't. I never give 10-8s unless there's a knockdown. But
It's got to be something where you hurt a guy and they're backpedaling a while. Like maybe one of those rounds in the Provatnikov fight where Bradley didn't go down or they ruled it a slip. Like you might want to do that, like a 10-8 round. But other than that, you know, it's very tough.
But yeah,
the fact that he won that round pretty clearly and the judge gave it to the other guys pretty fucked up, right?
They were even talking about maybe it was a typo or maybe he's wrote it wrong. It was quite funny towards the end of that segment.
Yeah.
All right, Kev. Anything else you want to talk about while you're on?
Nah, that's it. And I'm just surprised. I heard Ari said even I'm paying for cable now. That's pretty crazy. If they get an Ari to pay, they must be making a killing.
Yeah, I think his mum and dad are kicking him out. No, joking. One quick question though, Kev, before you go, or even if you stay on the line. Usually for Floyd cards, you might have a poker game at your house, invite some friends, like share the cost. Are you gonna do it for the Berto fight?
Nah, no way. I can't do it. By that time, I hope to be moved out of the house and moved in with my girl. So I can't justify my girl trying to order that pay-per-view. That's not a good look.
The poker game will be more exciting than the fight itself.
Whatever. I think I'm with like Leon. Like let them just both retire. Like I'm so done with them. I'm not even going to pay attention to them anymore when it comes to their upcoming fights.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
But
Kev.
I do think, and I remember I said this from the jump when people were like, oh, it's going to be on CBS. It's the parent company of Showtime. Blah blah blah. I was like, there's no way CBS is paying Floyd $32 million and putting him on regular TV.
No way.
Yeah. And I was getting called a hater for that as well. And now, look, he's fighting a bum on fucking...
You a hater, Kev. You a hater.
Yeah.
I tell you what. Sorry, Hamad, on you go.
Nah, I was just going to say, according to someone, it was a done deal for it to be on CBS.
Yo, Hamada went hard over there, man.
I saw
Hamada,
Hamada.
We can't have that debate either. No one wants to hear that shit either. Me and you were talking about. That's the original black hole, the Floyd resume and stuff like that.
Not going to go into that.
All right.
No, but yeah, I'm not going to get that pay-per-view. I think it's a bad look because it's like a decent undercard. There's some fights on the undercard I want to watch, but I'm not paying for that. I'll just watch the undercard the next day on the stream, you know?
Yep.
Can I just say that I don't think CBS could risk Mayweather having bad ratings. I mean, the premier attraction in boxing having shit ratings. What if a fucking MMA fight had a bigger rating than a Floyd Mayweather fight?
No, I don't think that would happen, though. I don't think
that would be the official confirmation that boxing's in trouble.
Can I play devil's advocate?
Of course you can, Joe. What's happening?
No, I just wanted to say that, man. I always wanted to say, let me play devil's advocate.
Joe, your line's pretty bad as well. Try hanging up and calling back.
Ah, Jesus Christ.
So bad you sound like King J.
Alright. Joe's hanging up. Let's see if he comes back. I'm trying to add him back.
Yo.
Yeah, that's much better. Go. Joe, we haven't heard your intro for a while. Let's hear it.
All black, ski mask, glove, tuck the thing, ski mask swing.
I still got the black ski mask to throw on.
What's happening, Joe?
Yeah, I had to mute myself during that intro, man, cause fucking Ari, I don't know what happened, man. He's over here giving me the Ari smoke alarm curse.
He already gave it to Hamada, now he's giving it to you. Oh,
yeah, you heard that? Yeah,
there we
you
go. We are officially the Smoke Alarm Coalition.
Shit, man. I'm over here chilling with Snoop Dogg, man. This motherfucker setting this shit off.
Joe, anything you want to talk about in particular?
Yeah. I ain't buying that pay-per-view. Fuck that. I'm not buying that Mayweather Berto pay-per-view. He could go fuck himself with that shit.
What are you gonna do? You gonna stream it and then watch it another day?
No, I always buy his pay-per-views, man, and this shit is bullshit, man. I'm not buying this shit, man. I would rather pay to see Khan versus Mayweather. Sad to say, as much kind of hate that I have for Khan, I would rather see Khan versus Mayweather and pay for that.
How the tables have turned.
Yeah, man, that sucks. Hey, if Berto gets hurt in this fucking training camp, do you guys think he'll be a good friend and let like Amir Khan like, hey buddy, you know I know I've been fucked up, but you go ahead, I'm gonna pass the torch to you.
No, Khan's been lazy, man. He's been going Pakistan and Dubai and stuff, man. He'll be out of shape.
Man, this guy's partying, dude. He's like trying to forget that shit. He's trying to go as furthest away from the United States, UK, all that shit, so he won't hear the news, huh?
Drown his sorrows.
Yeah, he's trying to like, oh man, oh man. I was hearing Chu earlier talking about how Al Heyman has saturated the game, man, and like how Eddie Hearn, I don't know, man. Eddie Hearn, isn't he like a fucking stingy rat anyways, right?
Yeah, he ain't paying me.
Fuck, man. Eddie Hearn, dude, that dude's like a fucking stingy rat, dude. Compared to Heyman, forget about it. That guy ain't letting no money go.
Yeah, it's like the opposites. Like Heyman's got loads of money and wasting it, not getting any good fights, and Hearn's not got that much money, and at times he gets decent fights, at times he doesn't. But I don't know, Joe. Do you watch much of the English cards?
Huh?
Do you watch much of the UK cards?
Of course, man. If I could have AWE fucking air them over here in the US, I would be happy, but I have to actually stream that shit, dude, from you guys. You guys always send me those nice links, but other than that, I hardly get them.
Yeah.
I'm actually amped up to see Anthony Joshua. I think he's fighting in September, right?
Yeah, we were discussing that earlier. I know Chu wants to get into that as well, so it's a good segue. I think he's going to be fighting Gary Cornish on the same night that Floyd's fighting Berto. Chu, what did you want to talk about with this fight? Sorry, you want to talk about
White.
The White fight, didn't you?
Yeah.
But should we be jumping the gun, though? He still has to get past Gary Cornish.
It's a big challenge. Of course, Gary Cornish is dangerous.
Your fellow Scotsman as well?
Of course. I mean, you never count out a Scotsman. We've got
Another punching Scotsman.
Well, you know that. Gary Cornish is really a stylistic treat for the boxing fan.
I'm surprised that Hearn didn't call this card like Braveheart or some shit like
that. Tomorrow we'll find out.
Perfect one, you know.
He'll change the name tomorrow.
He's so brave. You know, Josh was a beast. Like, you know, Cornish, he's a hungry lion. Like, he's very brave.
Yeah. He's getting knocked out in about 3 or 4 rounds, isn't he?
He's not making it past 2.
You were saying 2, wow.
I'm thinking even 1.
Nice.
I'm not joking.
Yo, man, I can't wait to see fucking Anthony Joshua knock this motherfucker straight the fuck out. Hell yeah.
What I will say is, like, I've seen Gary Cornish spar on YouTube, and I can't remember. I've done someone about this.
Oh man, I thought you were gonna say you seen a fight, but you said you seen a sparring session. Oh Jesus!
Yeah,
Christ.
he was fighting the big 7-foot guy, Whack. The Whack, the Polish guy. And
yeah, the shit was the Whack.
He looked as if he was giving him the business, I'm not gonna lie. But, you know, that's sparring. It is what it is. AJ will probably knock him out, yeah. And the thing is, I saw Dillian White's last fight. And I've seen a lot of Dillian White interviews. I like Dillian White. I think he's something about his personality that's real. And in many ways, it's kind of the opposite of AJ. Like, I think AJ is like a publicist telling him what to say in his ear. Whereas I think Dillian White is kind of like, there's something menacing about him. Every time that Cougar Cassius interviews him, You can tell Coogan's he's a bit terrified of him. And I like that. And when you see Dillian White say that AJ's from Watford and he couldn't handle growing up where I grew up, I like that kind of menace. I like the fact that fucking Dillian White's already beat him as an amateur, already knocked him down. And I tell you what, I think Dillian White's improved as well. I like his trainer, Jonathan Banks. Just the way they carry themselves, the things they say in post-fight interviews, the things they say during the fight. I don't know, man, I think that AJ might be in for a bit of a challenge in that fight.
Yeah, he will come, it will be a serious fight. I think we can, I want White to win, but I think AJ will beat him, but he'll come to win, and he'll be well prepared, and it'll be his first real challenge, I think, for AJ.
Who you got in that fight?
I've got Joshua winning, but I want White to win. But Joshua will beat him, I think. He'll go longer though, and he might test that chin as well.
Yeah, this one's going past 4 for sure.
Yeah, I think about 5, 6, maybe 7 most.
I don't think so. Joshua's gonna kill him. Joshua doesn't like him, and Joshua's gonna go first round, he's gonna go over to him, and he's gonna knock his block off. I can just see it. Joshua's just gonna do the madness, I'm telling you.
Anyone know what White's chin's like?
I don't
no, but I've heard him say that he's never been down in sparring or anything, amateurs or anything like that, and he's sparred
Vlad all the time, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's always in Vlad's camp, sparring all the heavyweights, and in that camp.
And
he sparred Vitali.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think the chins.
Vlad always has those. Vlad's always got those guys with those good chins in his camp. Those guys who go long and who lose, but don't very, very rarely get knocked out. So if you can I think that's good sparring for him. He'll have a decent chin, I think.
No one can stand up to AJ's power.
But let's be honest, man. Who's he fought? I mean, yeah, okay. The outlier is that John, safety pin, but he's fought no one. His power is possibly real, probably is real.
No, it definitely is real.
But we said that about Wilder, and then he didn't get rid of Stavern. I think it was. Yeah, I think it is real, but we can't say that for sure yet.
But Leon, who's Dillian White for?
No one, apart from AJ in the amateurs, and he beat him.
From the fights I've seen Dillian White in, I've seen a load of guys come in and take dives, man. I'm not even gonna lie.
Just take the paycheck.
I've seen someone, even when he fought earlier in the year, the guy took a dive as well. Like, these guys are taking dives, man.
You can't say that.
Another thing that pissed me off as well, Hearn said White's injured his hand and this fight's not going to happen until later on. And then White suddenly on the undercard of the Hull card, and then he's on the undercard of this September card as well. It's like, he just fucking blagged it and just wanted to, build up some momentum. And any of you see it being on pay-per-view? I can't see it, but I wouldn't put it past Hearn. And again, like when one of you mentioned earlier, if you combine it with maybe the Mayweather Berto card, combine it all together and make it pay-per-view, I could see that happening.
That's the only way it can be done, I think.
Cam, you talking about White versus Joshua or Cornish versus
White
Joshua?
Joshua's in December.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, I'm getting mixed up.
White Joshua would be pay-per-view.
Joe.
I see the dive in him.
Yeah, you need to mute yourself as well, Joe, because your alarm's just pissing everyone off.
Alarm's a different level.
It's that U.S. alarm, man. Got more power than Keith Thurman.
Alright, just try and mute yourself when you're not talking, please, Joe. Alright, if that's the case, then I'm getting mixed up, yeah, so that's not going to happen then.
No, but they might stack that White card could be the first pay-per-view.
Yeah, they'll stack it. It's going to be an 0-2.
Could they put a pay-per-view on before Christmas though? It's going to be hard to sell that one.
But if they get DeGale on the undercard, who else could they have on that?
Mitchell.
Mitchell.
with a decent fight.
Maybe Selby.
Yeah, maybe.
Again.
I don't know about that.
But that could
Hand's got the
go.
casuals where he wants them, man. They'll buy it. It's only what, 40, 99, 70, 99, they'll buy it. It's not like America where they're spending $80.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I like
they
about...
don't like each other, so.
Yeah, exactly. Hate sells.
Go on, you.
I was gonna say the thing I like about Eddie Hearn is like he's got Dillian White fighting on AJ undercards and like other cards, and he's building it up slowly. Like every time there's a Dillian White fight, Eddie Hearn's there after the fight when Dillian White's getting interviewed, and you see the progression in who each fighter is going to fight. You know what I mean? It's like a kind of almost WWF kind of style build up. Oh, it's building up, it's building up, it's building up. And by the time December comes, it's like, oof, it'll be a big fight. You know, it'll be a sellout. It's good for one. It's quite shit that obviously they're fighting bums for about 6 months before they fight each other. But I mean, you do want bigger fights. So it's just, it is what it is, you know what I mean? So it's the price you need to pay. I just think that AJ is hiding glass. And I think that the first big punch that lands on him, I'll be honest with you, I think he sleeps.
I don't know about that hiding glass and all that. I see your point, but look, Vlad's hiding glass as well, but his chin's not been touched for 10 years.
That's a good point, but I mean, he's Vladimir Klitschko. He's the most boring fighter in the world.
But he had one of the best trainers of all time. AJ's got Sims.
Yo, but you know what, man? Speaking of Vladimir Klitschko, man, I seen a promo shoot with him and Tyson Fury. I was going for Tyson Fury, man, but after seeing his fucking physique, I'm going back to watching. I'm rooting for Vlad, man. That dude's just fucking goddamn. That dude's probably like the size as me. Some bullshit. How is he fighting Vladimir Klitschko?
So you're not going for Muffin Top Fury then, no?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I have to see like some videos surface where he's talking shit to win me over again.
You got to be serious. Gypsy beats Polish plumber every time.
I hate gypsies, man. Fuck those people.
Oh, whoa.
Calm down, Joe.
No.
You're lucky you don't live in the UK. That's at least a fucking car burnt down in your driveway.
Well, I'm out.
Alright.
Listen to you, man. I don't think AJ's hiding glass. If AJ was hiding glass, we'd hear about it. When Khan and David Price and then people came out through the amateurs and that, we heard about their dodgy chins. We ain't heard nothing about AJ's chin. So I don't think it's that. You never know. You could get hit. You can get hit on the button and do a funny dance, but I don't know, man. I just don't. Plus, I think AJ's got heart as well. He looks like he's the kind of guy that's got heart.
Yeah.
He looks like he'd go to war.
Oh yeah, I think.
I'll give you that.
I mean, I think, you know, he's our biggest star, isn't he, at the moment? Let's be honest. The star potential is huge with him. And if that chin can take a shot, he's going to make himself a lot of money, and Wilder's fucked.
I even remember when AJ was fighting the World Amateur Championships final. He got rocked a few times in that fight, but he went to war. He's not one of those who got rocked and didn't know what to do and started running around and started, making a mess of himself. He actually held his feet and went to war with the guy. You know what I mean? So I think AJ will be fine.
You know what? I'm basing it on nothing. I'm just basing it on the way he carries himself, the way he walks to the ring. I don't know whenever I see a kind of physique like that, I think, I have no idea why, I just think fragile chin. Maybe it's because I watched Frank Bruno all these years.
I'm more worried about his gas tank. I'm more worried about his gas tank. I think he might gas after 6 rounds. That's what I'm worried about.
Hamada, that's kind of the case with those over-muscular guys, right?
Yeah.
Even Tyson, Tyson didn't really carry his power too far late in the fights,
And then you look at Lewis as well. Lewis wasn't ripped, was he? but he could always
Yeah,
go
but Lewis
distance.
was a big motherfucker, though.
Yeah.
He
had a great gas tank on him, though, didn't he?
Yeah, when he trained. When he wasn't undertrained.
Even Vladimir Klitschko early in his career used to have a bad gas tank as well. And like over the years, he's learned how to pace himself through fights. Now,
and I think that became when he got more comfortable in the ring, because I think he was so worried about getting hit in the past that those first couple rounds, he was so nervous that sapped his energy.
Yeah, it's true. So
the biggest myth in boxing was that Lennox Lewis had a bad chin. He didn't. Honestly, he didn't.
Everyone's got a bad chin in heavyweight boxing, man.
Yeah. You get hit by a guy that's 250, you're going
You're
down.
fucks, man. Yeah.
I'm only 225. I feel like I sucker punch somebody, they're going down.
Yeah.
You square up with me, I'm going to the wrestling.
She also, like, AJ is going to be a guy who is going to be protected to a certain extent. Like, I don't think Eddie Hearn would put him in against Dillian White if he wasn't 100% sure that he would beat him.
I think the worst thing you can do sometimes is protect someone.
Yeah. Then they get that false sense of security, right, Cam? If you don't go through it early.
Exactly.
It helps people sometimes when they go through that in the 12th, 13th, 14th fight and they go through a tough 8-10 rounder, you know?
Yep. Makes him a better boxer.
And to be really fair as well, it's difficult to be protected in a division that's so poor at the moment. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
He'll fight someone you think he's being protected, and he'll be fighting the guy who's number 5 in the world.
I think Joshua has the makings of being a stud, though, like a big star. Do you guys not see that over there?
Oh, yeah. I mean...
Yeah.
It's obvious.
Every guy who has that street thug mentality, like a background that comes in a heavyweight division, they get amped up, and if they could just back it up in the ring, they become big stars.
Yep.
Sky are ready to make him their next big pay-per-view guy. Like
have they
said,
done like biographies on him?
Yeah, he's had a. It's on YouTube if you want to see. I'll link it for you after the show if you want.
Yeah.
He's already had a documentary where they're walking around his area with him and showing him training and I think it was like his first 6 fights. He's actually had 2 documentaries if I remember correctly.
He was also on that round table with all the UK heavyweights, Bruno, Lennox Lewis.
Yeah, that was before he even turned pro.
Exactly, and you get because the whole thing about the heavyweight division being king is you watch guys that are 130 and in your mind you feel like you could beat them. You see a guy 240 in the ring and you're like, nah, I can't beat him. Like, you know what I mean? And that really has the mold of the baddest man on the planet. And then when you put like a little street thing behind him, it gets that little more, I guess justification to it or something like that. A little more validity to the like that baddest man on the planet aura. And I think he could be a big star. I think he could be big over there and cross over here very easily.
I agree. All right, let's move on. Let me have a quick little break. Mention the Predictions League. Top 10. Barcelos still in first. Chappie Hova second. Hamada Boxing in third. And Ari Gold Boss is hot on the heels of Hamada in fourth. Inverness Mark in fifth. Lamarcus Malvo sixth. Minor Bongo seventh. Kernan 123 eighth. Steve Waters ninth. And my girl Sarah, aka Sasa, in 10th. Alright, let's give a shout to the people in the chat. We got Wasif 1, Casual Fan, PM Versus, Nothing for Something, BRD Hey, Kevlar, Zane's World, TBE Chef, London Box, Bill Bones 101, Nunez 83, Shams 1000, Nick G, Super Merc, Tickle 1, Tony Yayo, CC 1589, Anastasia, The 17, Column, Marky Mark TMT, NK Healthy, Kid Galabum, Nesmatic, Jas, Z334, Steve Kim, Dean Scores, my boy Scorsese, Steve Love, Doe Masters, Lucan, Zulo 90, and the new, and 15 guests. Alright. I know my boy Joe, White Ski Mask Joe, can't be on the show today. Want to quickly talk about Selby signing his management deal with Heyman. Who wants to go first? Don't all speak at once.
Yeah, he's doing the right thing. Going over
Eddie Hearn ain't letting that money loose, man. I'm telling you.
But that's where the fights are as well. He knows Hearn can't get him those fighters over here because he doesn't sell enough tickets. He's not a big enough draw to get the big fights over there. He has to go to the States. It has to happen. He's making the right move.
Man, watch. Kel Brook's going to sign that contract too.
And you could tell he's someone that, you know, he thinks about legacy like that to go over there.
Absolutely.
You know, look how he's constantly over there training in Floyd's gym, and you know we've seen the documentary on BBC Three where he's sparring, you know, Valdez and stuff like that. So he's all.
And we've seen where he's from, man. You know, that's a rough place he's come from.
And of course, them Heyman checks will help him. You know what I mean?
Those Heyman checks weren't helping him.
But
you know what I mean?
We see him fight Mares Santa Cruz winner.
You know,
I don't think that'll be next, but hopefully down the road.
You know what I mean?
Or Gary Russell as well.
Hearn can't get him those fights over here, Ari, can he? He has to go over there.
No. You know, Hearn was saying he had to put pay-per-view on to get Gradovich, so there's no way he's getting a Gary Russell or a Mares.
So what he'll do is he'll fight like a little Josh Warrington over here, make a bit of money, then go and fight a better guy in the States. And then, like, that's what I think he'll do, and then maybe come back, fight a lesser guy, and then go back for another big fight. I hope that's what he does.
I hope he fights big names as well, because in the back of my mind, I'm slightly concerned that he's going to be a bit protected, and I hope that doesn't happen, because he seems the type of guy to me that wants a legacy, who wants belts, he wants to fight the best. You can kind of see that in him.
He thinks he's the best, doesn't he? You know what I mean? How he carries himself. You know, you've got to challenge yourself. Otherwise, you just, you know, you got, at some point, you've always got to go to the States and test yourself as a British fighter, because otherwise, you know, those fuckers don't take us seriously, do they?
And I know Joe's going to listen to this later, and all I'm going to say is, I told you so, because, you know, Joe was someone who called in quick when DeGale did the same thing, shitted on him for what he said was being a snake over Hearn. But I'm not saying that I believe that in Selby, but at the same time, because, you know, Joe's a big fan that Hearn brought him from nothing, you know, really. So it's much different to the DeGale situation. Selby was, you know, fighting in small halls and whatever, and Hearn put him on the big stage. But I'm not saying, I agree with what Selby's done. I agree he has to do this for his career. But I'm just saying to Joe, just basically for Joe listening back, like I did tell you so.
Ari's trying to make that clear to Joe. But
hey, I've got a message for Joe as well. Selby is ducking Lomo.
Oh, what's funny?
He is ducking him. He is hiding from Lomachenko. He is going with Al Heyman. He is running to PBC. He can't get there fast enough. Lomo. You can't compete with that speed, that Ukrainian skill. He's got no chance. You know, Valdez, everybody's seen the footage on the BBC documentary. Oscar Valdez was handing him the business. So, I mean, Lee Selby can beat these guys. Listen, I like Lee Selby. He seemed like a personable guy. He seems like a good guy. But there's levels to this shit. You can't say that you're wanting to fight for legacy and all that, and then duck Lomachenko. I mean, Lomachenko is the man. So if I was him, I would sign with someone who could ensure me that fight. You're not going to get anything by fighting Gary Russell Jr.
WBC belt and more money.
Oh, who cares about the belts?
It's unification. I'm just playing devil's advocate.
I know, yeah. But I mean, Gary Russell Jr., I mean, is he fucking... How would he ever recover from that Lomachenko win? Oh, sorry, loss. I mean, he can beat these fucking short Mexican bums. But I mean, Lomo is his daddy.
Ain't a bum. Let's relax a
You
bit on that.
you don't go after the top guy straight away. He's got to test himself before he gets to Lomo. He's got to make little steps up there.
Leon, I'm surprised you're not throwing some more salt on this thing.
I like Selby. No, I think it's the right thing. I think you're right. Fighting Lomo would be the ultimate fight in that division. But for the moment, the place he can get the most fights with the best quality is with Heyman, because Hearn's going to do nothing for him. There's only Lomo on that side. So doing what he's doing makes sense. Sorry to be without salt.
That's rare.
I tell you what, Selby could give Lomachenko problems because he's so tall for the weight. But he would still lose. But you want to test yourself as the best. I would like hunt fucking Lomachenko up to super featherweight. You know, I would do anything to get that fight if I was Lee Selby, because you're always going to be in his shadow if you don't.
Yep. Anyone else want to chime in, or should we move on? Alright, let's move on. I was speaking to Leon today. He sent me a message and said maybe we should have a little segment, seeing as though it's a bit, boxing's a bit quiet, and kind of delve into the fights that kind of got us into boxing. So we call it the Dad's Army segment. Yeah, if you're not from the UK, you won't understand what that. But yeah, you want to start, Leon, then, seeing as though it was your idea.
Yeah. I thought it'd be quite interesting thing to talk about, because it's it's a small sport, and it's weird how all these different kind of people come together and talk about this one sport. It's not like football and all the other sports we have over here. So it seems like we're all from quite different places. So I thought it'd be quite interesting to talk about, what got us into this sport. And mine was watching all the super middleweights back in the late 80s and early 90s. But the first fight that I went to a live fight at the Royal Albert Hall to see Chris Eubank fight, which is my first live fight with my dad. And then he took me to see the Ben Eubank in Birmingham, that first fight. And that's the fight. That's when I knew I was hooked. The build up to that was incredible. The shit talking was immense. But that atmosphere in that room for that night, I was 14, that's still the best sporting event I've ever been to. And it was a hell of a fight as well. All you guys must have gone back and watched that fight, right? Over the years.
Yeah, of course.
And I mean, when Ben came into the marching guard, and all the guys who were in his, he was in the army, wasn't he? So everyone in his regiment marched him to the ring. It was madness. It was just such an incredible atmosphere. And they were great fighters as well. I mean, the run that Eubank went on to get to that fight was it was a decent run, but it was his first big fight. And when Ben landed that first big shot, and everyone questioned Eubank's chin, and that was like the birth of one of the great chins in boxing over the last 20 years. I mean, it was a hell of a fight.
All fighters in England, y'all bombs. Burger King, Burger King, baby, Burger King. Yo, I'm out.
Yeah, I swear Joe's drunk every time he phones the show, But just for me, my earliest memory of boxing was probably like 88, 89. I remember just seeing, Barry McGuigan's later fights on TV. My dad must have been watching it. But when I actually got into it was around, the Prince Nassim era. I've said it before, I was never a fan of Prince Nassim's shit talk or nothing, but as a fighter, he was so exciting to watch because he'd get those first round knockouts or second round knockouts, and boxing just seemed so easy to him, like he wasn't even trying, and these guys were just like, almost, they'd know they lost already before they've even had the fight. And I think a friend of mine from high school lent me a highlights tape in like 96. And I was just amazed by this guy, like his entrances, flipping over the rope, and that's how I got hooked on boxing. Who's next? Kev, you still there? You want to give us your thoughts? Kev? Alright. Hamada?
It's got to be Floyd Mayweather's debut.
How old are you? 3?
What fight got? Probably Hatton versus Costas U. Right. I remember that was one of the first fights I remember watching. I'm a lot like younger than you lot. Yeah, so.
Yeah, don't make me and Leon sound old, man. Come on.
But that was a hell of a fight, though. That atmosphere was amazing.
Yeah, trust me, those kind of fights, man, it was amazing. Around that time, you know, when Hatton started bursting obviously Hatton burst on the scene from early, but I'm talking about when Hatton started going global. Even after that, he went on to fight Collazo and then Floyd. Even I remember watching Floyd versus De La Hoya as well. Because I was quite young them times. I think I was probably like 14 years old at the time, 15 years old around that time. And my brother, he used to watch boxing, so like I used to look up to him and I used to just do whatever he used to do. You know what I'm trying to say? I remember even back then he used to go to a boxing gym. I used to follow him, etc., etc. So yeah, if anything, my brother got me into boxing.
Nice.
So yeah, that was one of the first fights I watched. Though it was a great fight, man. I mean, it was sad though that you had to quit on this stool. You know.
Yeah, no, it was tough to watch, man.
Yeah, great fighter like you seeing him quit on this stool was quite bad, man.
But he was on a rampage that night, Hatton, man.
Yeah, nothing was denying him that night. That was the night.
Yeah, absolutely. And I still love his press tour with Floyd was one of the best press tours. Their shit talking was amazing.
Yeah,
that stuff.
Even the 24/7 was great as well.
I've been missing my family a bit, but you know, it's alright for me hanging around with this 6-year-old. That line was amazing.
Alright, Chew, what was your first memories of boxing? What fights got you into boxing?
Yeah, man, I can't actually remember if it was the Frank Bruno Mike Tyson 2 or the Ben McClellan. I think it was the Ben McClellan was the first fight I actually watched. I was 10.
That's a brutal way into the sport.
Yeah, man, I was just transfixed by the boxing game after that fight. I was like, I was watching it with my whole family and like my dad's a boxing fan, my brother's a boxing fan. So yeah, I was just like, okay, that's it, man. I wanna box. You know, I wanna watch every kind of fucking boxing fight that comes on. And you know, I can't remember, I went up to my uncle's house and then I watched, Frank Bruno, Mike Tyson 2. And I was kinda naive. I was thinking, oh, Frank Bruno's gonna win this. Cause Frank Bruno was given the big interview before it and he was like, no way am I gonna lose this. No way. Then he loses. And I was like, fuck. But I've never really followed fights up until I was like a teenager. I was only ever followed fighters. I followed, Frank Bruno, Prince Nazim. And then I kind of transitioned from Prince Nazim. I was kind of paying attention to the guys that Prince Nazim could fight. I watched Marco Antonio Barrera and Eric Morales won. And then I was like, oh fuck man, I love this fucking boxing game. Fucking love this shit. And then Ricky Hatton just came on the scene and I just kind of re-energized my whole fucking passion for boxing. I fucking love boxing, man.
I haven't heard you say that for a while, man. It's good to hear it.
But just going back to it, that's what I remember about boxing, because I was always watching sport with my dad. But when I first saw Eubank, it's like, how do you get away with this shit? Like, you're like it's from another planet. You are fucking mental. And it's just like, and then you go and see an interview with a footballer after a game. It's like, and it's just like, it was just, no, the human story behind boxing is the best thing about it. I think you can be an absolute lunatic. And that's why people love it, isn't it? Because of characters.
Yeah. There's nothing better than a big fight that delivers.
Oh, no.
Right. Nothing worse when a big fight doesn't, but nothing better when a big fight delivers, man.
Yep.
At its highest, it's the most mad you can ever go, I think, when a big punch lands.
Like, I'll be honest with you, and you can, Leon, I've got to ask you, when was the last time you watched a big fight and it delivered? For me, Cal Froch, George Groves.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
The first one.
First one, yeah. But when you look at, because It's because that's my weight, that super middleweight division. That's why I grew up, and they were so good. Those fights, that whole period. I know everyone say I'm an old man, and but they all ended up fighting each other, and they had to, and they lost, and then came back, and it didn't matter because you were so invested in the characters, and they were all so weird that you had to see the next fight, whoever it was going to be between. And that's why I love that period. And that's what I don't get anymore. There's not enough. No one wants to give a fucking rematch anymore, do they? That's another thing, you know. The loss meant less back then as well, I think. You're okay with a loss.
Yeah, now they just want to keep those O's.
You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, Ben would have been finished when Watson knocked him out in 6 or 7 rounds or whatever it was, you know, a couple of years before he fought Eubank. If that was nowadays, he'd be finished, wouldn't he?
Definitely.
Yep.
Ari, what fights got you into boxing?
It's hard to think back, but first real big one I can remember, I'd say watching Lewis Tyson. I remember my dad bought it on pay-per-view. I watched it with him. I think I was like only maybe 11. What year was that? 2012? Yeah, I was around 11. So yeah, man. 2012, sorry, 2002.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
fucking Peter Pan.
But even so, I was still, you know, I didn't really watch it too much. I was all about football. That's all I ever played and did really, you know, but, yeah, Lewis Tyson, I remember that was first pay-per-view where I was really hyped when I was young, and obviously, you know, my dad had all the Tyson DVDs, so I'm constantly always seeing Tyson knocking out people, and, you know, obviously I still knew that Lewis would win because I knew Tyson was kind of, you know, past prime. But then I remember the first fight that I remember staying up till like 4 a.m. for was Mayweather De La Hoya, because I remember, you know, Sky got the hype train on it, and, you know, it wasn't pay-per-view, it was free for us, and I remember staying up till like 4 a.m. to watch that. And then, you know, that's why I started growing more into watching boxing more and more, and, you know, and then, you know, then you realize you're watching it nearly every week, and you become a hardcore, you know, that's how it was really.
I remember those Lewis pay-per-views were some of the best parties I had at my old flat in Hackney, and some of the best parties I went to. Everyone always did things for those Lewis fights. And I mean, parties with actual girls at as well, staying up till 4 a.m. to watch those fights. Not just like a man fest.
Not just sausage factories.
He definitely carried over, you know, Lewis.
Yep.
He was a big, big star, and all those fights were great. I mean, that when he got robbed by Holyfield the first time, but, you know, all those, I paid for all of them, or if I had to pay, or I can't remember if I was paying or not, but I was always up for a Lewis fight. Always.
Yep. And I think Josh has that kind of stardom.
Oh, definitely.
I think he could take that place.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, I don't, because Lennox Lewis had opponents. Joshua doesn't.
That's a good point.
Really. That's a good point. But even Lewis was slightly on the back of that great period, wasn't he? He was younger than the really good, when heavyweight were great in the 90s. What was that, like 91 to 96? And he was slightly on the tail end of it, wasn't he, unfortunately for him?
Yeah, he was a bit like Steve Collins in that sense, you know. Like
more like Joe Calzaghe, like.
Oh yeah, even better, yeah.
Yeah. Because Collins, you know, they were great fights as well. He was a hard bastard.
Yeah. When you look at it, man, that was really the golden era of British boxing. I mean, the reason why it was the golden era is because you had the good American fighters to kind of match yourself off against. I don't think I think the British level has kind of stayed somewhere, but unfortunately the American fighter is not as in depth as what it used to be. Yeah, I remember fucking watching fights like Barrera, Kennedy, McKinney, like when I was fucking, cause I would watch a Barrera fighting, and then as soon as YouTube came on the scene, like 2005, I'd be like, I would be YouTubing all the fucking Barrera fights I could get, and I was like, oh fucking hell, man, what a fight. I would have loved to have been a boxing fan.
Oh, he's brilliant.
In the 90s. Like that was. People say the 60s and the 70s was the best era in boxing. Nah, man, I think the 1990s was the best.
It was it was a very, very strong era.
Yeah.
They were great.
Yeah, like the rise of Roy Jones. You know.
Yeah. That's
super real prime Roy Jones in the 90s.
James Toney being a lunatic.
Yeah, Tony.
Yo, those three fighters are like Bernard Hopkins, Tony, and Roy Jones. I mean, those guys could be anybody in any area. Like, those guys are like fucking elite.
I still say prime for prime, Roy Jones beats anyone.
Yeah, I agree. Like, he's just got like the 19...
That's why I wish, Sorry, that's why I just want him to retire, man, because even though he's not hurting his legacy, but at the same time, he kind of is, because down the line, like 20, 30 years, the next generation, they will see his later fights, or maybe they won't see his later fights, but they'll think,
But even now, it pushes the memory further and further into the back of your mind, doesn't it?
That's what I'm saying. You have to always remember, like, this guy
was the
beast.
nuts. Yeah. I mean, he was. I mean, because I was so into boxing, and it wasn't so difficult. It was more difficult to get hold of information back then, obviously. But you just heard these rumors and you read things about this guy over in the States. Then I started getting some tapes, and it's just like, yeah, none of our boys want to go and fight him. Let's just keep that shit over here. Because he would have beaten all of them. They're my favourite fighters, but he would have beaten all of those guys.
And, it's a shame because really McClellan was meant to be his natural rival. And then obviously McClellan, what happened to him.
I was at that fight, and that was just brutal.
Were you?
Oh yeah. That was devastating. Oh, that atmosphere was ridiculous.
Fucking hell.
You didn't know, the people in the arena didn't know actually what happened, did you, until you left afterwards?
Because it was like, you're so close to the ring, there's too many people in there almost. So after the fight finished, it seemed like you couldn't see anything. There was just so many people around the ring. You knew something was going on, and then it got that bad atmosphere. It was a dodgy atmosphere at boxing then. So my dad just got me out of there as quickly as he could, really, because there was a lot of football stuff going on as well back then.
Kid Galloway in the chat is saying Nigel was on the dish.
To be honest, it was on the nose bag. He was on a shit ton of that stuff.
When you faint on the way back to the locker room and then you don't give a fucking drugs test, it looks a bit suspicious, to be honest.
Yeah, but that was a performance from. How he dragged himself back out of that one was ridiculous.
Kid Galloway saying 20 count Nigel. All right, Kev, you're back. What fights got you into boxing?
Shit. My first favorite fighters was probably when I was like 10 or 11 or 9 even, watching Terry Norris and Pernell Whitaker and those guys. But like the specific fight that I watched that got me pumped was a tape of Holyfield versus Kawi, the first one. I can't pronounce his name. That was the best fight I've still seen ever to date. And that fight really got me hyped in watching boxing. And I remember we didn't have cable or anything at my house, so I had to go to my dad's friend who was a butcher. We called him T-Bone. And he had all the channels, HBO and pay-per-view and stuff. And that fight really got me going. And the Chavez-Whitaker fight and Terry Norris always being on Tyson undercards. And then when Terry Norris lost to Simon Brown, that was like the first big upset I seen. And like that got me into like anything could happen between that and the Pernell Whitaker getting robbed in the Chavez fight. It was like, damn, this sport's crazy, but like I love it.
Nice.
I don't know. Have any of you guys watched the YouTube of that Holyfield fight?
Yeah.
When he won his first light heavyweight belt?
I'm just trying to find it now again because I'm going to watch that again tomorrow.
I think that fight was in like 86 or something. Well, that fight was in like 87 or some shit, right?
I think that was one of those fights they replayed on ITV like on a Sunday afternoon, and I watched it, and it was just because we used to get a lot of fights.
I saw it on a grainy tape. Yeah.
Yeah, it was so good. I'm gonna
And
watch
I
that.
saw, and that's boxing to me. And I think that maybe that it's different because one of my favorite fighters was Whitaker because I saw like him and Buddy McGirt twice. I saw and I saw the first one in the Garden. That was like the first pro fight I seen. I think I was like 11 at the time. Probably had no business being there, but it was a good fight. And you know, I liked Whitaker. I liked him a lot. Him and Terry Norris were my guys, and then James Toney as well. But like when I watched that Holyfield fight, I was like, this is boxing. Like you could say hit and don't get hit all you want, but like when you got one guy boring in on you and you're not allowed to hold and a fight's allowed to happen, like that's what happens. And that's why I hate holding so much because if you just don't allow it, you're going to see fights like that more often. And Holyfield, man, fucking his heart was crazy. And that was the first, I don't think he went past 8 rounds before that fight. And I never liked Holyfield. I loved, like, one of my other favorite fights was the first Bo Holyfield fight. I love watching Holyfield get rocked. Because I always thought he was a little dirty with the headbutting. I always thought he was on the juice. But that first fight, if you watch that first fight, like, I don't want to hear boxing is throwing 30 punches around and hit and don't get hit.
Is that the white Mohammedi Quaid? Was that him? Is that the fight?
Yeah, Dwight Muhammad Qawi.
Yeah. A 15-rounder as well.
Yeah, 15-rounder. I don't think Holyfield went past 8 before that. And he was sick. It was like, Qawi was fighting like when, you know, you hear about Joe Frazier boring in on you, throwing hooks and like that's kind of how he was fighting, and it was crazy. I remember somebody gave me that tape and I was, you know, young as shit. And the fight I think happened like 3 years before, and it was nuts.
Yeah, Qawi was tiny, man. He was like 5'6" or something, and it was like a light heavyweight, and he was pushing guys back who were like 6'2", 6'3", and, you know, built like Evander Holyfield. He had a lot of heart, man. I think Qawi is like, you know, like a freak of nature. It was a great fight. Loved that fight.
Yeah, and just to see guys exert that type of energy and that type of will, like, you don't see that in any other sport, you know? That many rounds, and it was sick. And after that fight, I was like, damn, that's what I wanted to. I wanted to start boxing and everything, and that's why I got into wrestling, because my mom was like, nah, he's not getting hit in the face. So my dad took me to wrestling practice like the next week.
BoxRec had him down as 5'5.5", and he was a light heavyweight.
Yeah, man, and he was thick. Yo, he was thick too, though. Like, you could tell he was natural, like, if he was born fucking 100 years ago, like, natural thickness, like, running through people, like, and it was a sick fight, man. I think they had a second fight, didn't really live up to the, you know, because by that time it's just a different story, but it was a young Holyfield, you know, fresh off the Olympics and getting robbed and everything.
Yeah.
I think back in the day, just having a good Olympic system is what really hyped you, because you kind of knew these guys as Olympians. Because in the States, I don't know about over there, and maybe it's because we win a lot of Olympics. Like, we really pay attention to the Olympics. Like, they always got good ratings back in the day, like enormous ratings. And you know, you get those classes like the Holyfield class, the Bo class, and then I think it was Bo, Roy Jones Jr. and like you know what I mean. And then you get the De La Hoya class. Purnell had a sick class. And it's like 3 or 4 guys that you could look forward to, and CBS or Worldwide of Sports would like push these guys right after the Olympics. So it's like you knew these guys. And then you saw fights that were on the undercards where like or Bernard Hopkins got on fights. Like, that's why I started liking him when he was an offensive fighter, fighting on like Tuesday night fights and stuff on undercards of other bigger names. And now we don't have that because our Olympics team sucks. Like, everybody's hyping up Errol Spence, like, you know, but he sucked in the Olympics because he's our amateur style. Like, it doesn't work anymore.
It's interesting, Kev. On Box Nation, they show it like 3 times a week. They show those like Tuesday night fights from the late 80s and early 90s over here, and I've been watching them, and they were amazing. Like,
yeah, all the big names were on there.
Yeah, all the undercard were 50-50 fights, and yeah, really good. And I've been watching because all the Ward fights. That's where he started fighting, isn't it? Gatti, sorry.
Yeah. And then, but Ward was on like the ESPN cards. He was also on like Wide World of Sports. Like, I think it was like Channel 7 or Channel 5 channel at the time. Like, that's where Bernard Hopkins fought a lot, was on that Wide World of Sports. He was making like $25,000 a fight, you know, fighting tough guys like Robert Allen and those guys. I think I saw him knock out like Joe Lipsy. I think it was on Tuesday Night Fights. And it was just the sickest thing I ever seen. He hit him with 2 shots, and the guy just stood there and like vaporized. It was unreal. Looked like a cartoon.
Yeah, it's kind of strange to think about it back then. I was like, you had guys like Ward and Gatti and even like the Drunken Master.
Yeah,
Emmanuel Augustus.
Always put on him versus Ward was one of the best fights I ever seen.
Yeah, it was class.
Did that fight win Fight of the Year that year? It had to be up for it.
I think so, man. He has so many great fights, man. I mean, these guys could compete. I think someone in the chat just said that. These guys could compete now. But that's how strong the era was back then. Like, I think if you were to introduce like Emmanuel Augustus into that division now, you know, he'd be competing. But back then he was like considered a C-class fighter.
Yeah. Well, you know what the thing is too, when it's 15 rounds, I think guys knew they couldn't run for 15 rounds, so they had to stand and fight. Like, no one has energy to pedal like that for 15 rounds and pumping out 40 jabs and 20 power shots, 60 punches, 15 rounds while moving that much. And I think it forced people to sit and people to get the second wind and stuff like that. And you don't see that urgency anymore. Like, it's, I don't know. I don't get it.
Yeah, that fight was 2001, Fight of the Year.
It won, right? That was a great fight. That was on Friday Night Fights. I remember Teddy Atlas going nuts.
Yeah, I think he had it a draw. Yeah. Should we move on? Do you guys want to discuss the preview of this week, or should we just get some final thoughts and get out of here?
I don't even know what's going on this week.
What other fights? It's that Tarver fight, isn't there?
Yeah, Tarver Cunningham on Spike on Friday with Marco Huck versus Krzysztof Glowacki on the undercard. Spilker's on the undercard as well. And on Saturday,
I always like Captain Hook.
Captain Huck.
Yeah. On Saturday, we got Aldo Alvarez versus Prieto, and Lucien Butte in a 10-rounder versus Andrea De Lucia.
My boy Alvarez is on TV?
Yeah, he's fighting in Canada.
I think this is the first time he's been on TV.
No, it was his last fight on TV. I'm not sure.
I think there was a stream of his last fight on an undercard.
Possibly, yeah.
Or it might have been on TV for you guys. It wasn't for us, though. So I remember I got a link from you guys that day.
Right, okay. Yeah, the Dudchenko fight. Yeah.
Yeah.
2-round blitz.
Yeah.
But yeah, any of you guys want to chop it up, or should we just move on? I'm kind of looking forward to the Tarver Cunningham fight, to be honest.
Yeah, so am I. Yeah, I think that'd be a good fight.
Do you think Tarver has anything left?
I think Tarver beats him. Yeah, I think Tarver beats him.
Tarver's gonna win.
Yeah.
That's me.
I'm the only one riding with my Navy brethren with USS Cunningham.
You're on your own, man.
Oh shit, that's it. Navy strong. I don't know. I think Tarver's shot. I think his reflexes. I think he just moves slow and he doesn't know when to pull the trigger on the left hand anymore.
He still hits hard though. That's the issue, man.
Yeah, I think Cunningham might get dropped once, but still, just if he puts on the right pressure, I think he could win.
Tarver's the real magic man. Not that joke guy we saw.
Not the dude wearing skirts and and fucked up hairdos.
Not the magic man.
Brooklyn.
AKA, he's also Mason Dixon as well. Let's not forget.
AKA the stepping stone, Paulie Malignaggi.
Yeah. I think Tarver's got more drugs than AJ in his prime.
Tarver used to be a crackhead back in the day.
I mean, exactly.
If I'm not mistaken, he was known around the Orlando area for being all fucked up.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I knew that.
I don't want to say it as fact. Maybe I'm wrong. And like I said, I lived down there for a while and I used to hear stories. But I think he was pretty fucked up in the game. That's why he got started late in boxing. Like, if you look, I think his pro debut was in his mid-20s or early 20s.
I think he's been quite honest about that, to be honest.
Yeah, so maybe I am getting it right.
I was talking more in regards to the steroids that he took.
Oh yeah.
And you know, the extremely light ban that he got.
That was pretty bad though that he lost his job over that, man.
Oh, but bro, he cheated.
Yeah, he
You know
cheated,
what I mean?
so he should have got suspended, but he could have kept his job. I mean, there's bad announcers all over the place.
True.
I mean,
that's true. But I mean,
we all knew Sugar Ray Leonard has a job. We all knew about his heavy coke use in the 80s. I mean,
That's true. It's true.
Yeah, but I mean, Sugar Ray Leonard's coke use didn't help him win a fight.
nah.
The thing with
But
Tarver
if we're going to
is-
be on a moral high horse,
No, you're right. I mean, I've no right to say that about Tarver and not other fighters, but
yeah.
I
No,
just
Tarver definitely should have been suspended. It should have been a year-long suspension at least from boxing. But I think keeping his job as a commentator, I thought he was all right because I didn't see much bias in him when he was a commentator. So,
no, he's a good commentator. I give him that. But I agree with you. I think he's shot, and I think Cunningham beats him. I don't think Tarver's got the power at heavyweight to give any kind of problems to Cunningham.
Cunningham's shit, man. He's gonna beat Cunningham.
yo, he's a slick black fighter though, man. You're not into him? No, he's not slick.
Cunningham's shit, man. It's funny that we mentioned that Cunningham actually beat Huck quite a while ago, man. As well, and they're fighting on the same card.
You know what happens? Even
You're
when
gonna
Cunningham wins,
you're gonna like Huck, Kevin, though. Huck is an exciting fighter.
that's what I'm about to say. Cunningham, even when he's in fights that he should win, they end up being like fireworks in a very close fight and good fight, you know, like, and when he loses, like, he's just good enough to lose, but he's in every round. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's because he doesn't have any power.
Yeah, you'll never see him win a fight like 10 rounds to 2. Like, you know what I mean? Because every round's like a swing round.
Yeah.
Didn't Cunningham get robbed in his last fight?
Yeah, he fought that European, right? The white dude that was getting a heavy push, Glaskov or something like that.
Yeah, Glaskov robbed him.
That I watched that fight, honestly. That Glaskov.
Hiding Glaskov?
Fucking terrible.
Yep.
Hiding Glasgow.
Ari, you got any thoughts about any of these fights?
Yeah, I don't know what Tarver's got left, to be honest, but if he's got anything left, I think he should beat Cunningham. You know, Cunningham's quite old himself. At the same time, you know, he did look good in the Glaskov fight, I have to say, but at the same time, who's Glaskov, you know? It's a 50-50 fight, to be honest. At the moment, I'm leaning more towards Tarver. I think he might even knock him out.
Yeah, I might go for a stoppage, so.
Tarver will knock him out.
Tarver don't throw enough punches now, man. You won't get the stoppage. If anything,
I need to see the Banks fight, you know. I don't think I've even seen that fight.
yeah, he knocked out Banks nicely, though. But Banks is shit as well.
Banks is so bad.
Banks is a better trainer than he is a fighter. That says it all.
And Huck, who's Huck fighting?
Glowacki. Bellew ducked this Glowacki guy, you know. He was offered a final and
Wasn't that the guy that Belly was supposed to fight to be mandatory?
Yeah, and he ducked it.
So,
they want to go for Hernandez, because they know Hernandez is an easier fight.
I don't think Hernandez is even going to win his next fight, though.
He's mad going down to Argentina for that fight as well.
Yeah, Hernandez isn't leaving with that belt, I don't think.
No, he's getting robbed.
Yeah, this Huck fight should be actually quite decent, this guy, yeah. I think I've seen him fight one time before, I'm not 100% sure on that, don't quote me. But, yeah, he's undefeated at least. And, you know, Huck's always entertaining. You think Huck's going to win easy and then he's in a war, so.
Huck is a Hall of Famer for me, man. I don't care what anyone says.
He'll sell well in the States. They'll like him.
Yeah, they'll definitely like his style.
Yeah.
Huck here he's in a similar mode to Carl Froch. You look at him and you think this guy's so beatable. He's not that good. But then when you're in there with him, it's just a whole different ball game. It's like these guys, they find it so hard to beat him, man.
He drags you into. They drag you into something you don't want to be involved in.
Yeah. And you know what Huck does as well? Huck does what Abraham does. He does those little flurries right at the end of the round and nicks the round. Like he'll let his hands go the last 30 seconds and then next thing you know, he's won that round.
He does little tactics as well, like if his opponent's got a high guard, like Fiat Aslan, he'll kind of like pull down one glove with one hand and then bang him with the shot with the other hand.
Yeah. It's a shame though him and Hernandez couldn't fight each other because they don't only have the same promoter, they got the same manager, but obviously, not manager, I mean trainer.
Trainer, yeah.
Huck's left Sauerland, but I don't know if is he still with Uli Regner?
I'm not sure, to be honest.
Yeah. No, I think Huck's in America. He's training in America now, man. I think he's with... What's that guy's name again, man? I don't even remember his name, but I know Huck's got an American trainer now, actually.
I think Hook's gone over there at a good time as well, because I just looked at his age. He's still only 30, which is, still in his prime, but he's had a lot of fights. And going over to the States now, I think, like you guys said already, his fun-friendly style would definitely do good over there.
But he's still fighting at cruiserweight, right? He hasn't tried to go back up again, has he?
No, it's still cruiser, yeah.
Yeah,
He's defending his WBO belt.
That's a kind of weak division over in the US, so he can make himself look good just by knocking out some lower level guys.
True.
And Huck beat Povetkin. Let's not forget, Povetkin, they robbed him, man. Don't you think so?
No, I had Povetkin in that fight.
I had Huck winning, man. I thought it was robbed.
A close fight though, wasn't it? It was a close fight.
He gave Povetkin a tough fight, and Povetkin is arguably second or third best heavyweight out there right now.
Yeah, but I think Povetkin improved a lot after that,
That's his first big step up, wasn't it, really?
Yeah.
Nah, I just think Marco Huck's good.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be, I'm looking forward to seeing him. Cause he hasn't fought for ages, has he?
Nah.
It'll be a year, isn't it?
His last fight, I remember Huck's last fight. His last fight was when he knocked out the guy, like, right at the end.
In the last round, it was August last year.
And he never got the TKO, it went down to the points.
As a UD, yeah, you're right, yeah.
I'm a Huck fan, man. All these people talking about, I don't like white fighters. Bunch of nonsense.
Armando trying to save his face.
No, but it's the truth.
That's it. Every show he's gonna have a token white guy that he roots for. Like when we make predictions, he's gonna find one white guy to pick one way or another.
He's like, I'm a big fan of this guy, man. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
It'll be a George Grossman.
He fought what's his name from over there. He got that trainer. That guy.
Yeah, I'm a big fan, man.
All right, guys. I think we get some. Unless you guys got anything else you want to discuss. Any other topics you guys want to discuss before we go?
How about one of the last episodes of Power just being one of the best shows out?
I still need to watch that show. You talk about it religiously, man. I know Bruce watches it as well. Ari, do you watch it as well, don't you?
Yeah, man. Me and Kev always talking about it.
Yo, when it's on Netflix, I'll look it up.
I think, especially the way True Detective was shit this year. It definitely came through.
Yeah, True Detective put me to sleep at least half the episodes.
Yeah, so slow. Power came through though good. Ballers is getting good. There's a lot of good TV out now. It's a lot of entertainment. That's why when I became more of a casual boxing fan, it's easier to find shit to watch.
Kev's a casual boxing fan and a hardcore TV show fan.
Yeah, that's it, man. You can tell I live an exciting life. I've watched every episode of every show.
Yo, Kev, quickly, is Don House a good trainer?
Don House?
Yeah.
Who the fuck is Don House?
See, I don't even know who Don House is, because that's the guy Marco Huck's training with now.
Where's he located at? Is he in Florida?
1 second. Let me find out for you.
Sounds familiar.
Hamad is worried now that the great Marco Huck is training with a poor trainer.
Stavern's trainer. That's it, he trains Stavern.
Oh, with that lollipop. So he's going to be using the lollipop.
I think, yeah. I just found some pictures of him. I hope he's not feeding him what he was feeding Stavern.
Ragu.
Oh, you seen what Stavern was making?
That's salty.
Jesus, if that's all you could cook, you might as well start eating out, brother.
That's why he's dehydrating.
It was that salty pasta sauce, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He better not be feeding Huck that, otherwise Huck might envy.
He might get glass. And Hamada's great white hope is gone.
Hamad is fucked. Alright guys, let's get some final thoughts. Leon, got any final thoughts for us?
Oh, I just really hope that Ward is has to fight on the undercard of that Cotto fight. That would be brilliant.
That'd be funny.
That would be so funny.
Yo, that's crazy. If he fights on the undercard of the Cotto fight and say Triple G does like 300,000-400,000 buys.
Yeah, where's your power now?
That'd be crazy.
Anyway, yeah, that's my final thought.
Alright.
Wish.
Thank you, Leon. Hamari, got any final thoughts?
Come back to me. Someone's hoovering in my background.
It's a bit late to be hoovering, man. 12:15.
I think someone smashed some glass.
Alright. Kev, you got any final thoughts?
I'd just like to say, as much as, boxing, me, whatever, falling off, but Showtime still doing a good job with the Showbox series. I think I remember watching Tim Bradley on Showbox, I think, Peterson, those guys, and now you see good talent, and I think they do well. They always match up prospects pretty tough. They give good, gauge fights.
Yep. Thank you, Kev.
So I hope they keep it up. I hope Heyman doesn't bastardize that as well.
Yeah, fingers crossed he doesn't. Alright. Ari, any final thoughts?
Nah, man, just hopefully we get some good fights soon, We still got 2 hours out of, I didn't see a single fight this week. All I saw was Kaichov, the last round, and that guy that won on Showbox. Was it Showbox who Perez lost to?
No, that was on
Russia.
That was HBO.
Yeah.
That was Latino.
Oh yeah, HBO Latino. My bad. I've seen that stoppage. I've seen
Ari, you thought that was a
I've
bullshit stoppage with the
Which
taking
one?
a knee?
Kaichov, definitely, yeah, man. He took a knee.
Yeah, I think the ref jumped too early. He was ready to stop it before the guy took the knee.
Yeah.
And then when he took the knee, instead of realizing and stopped waving it off, he just kept waving it off.
Yeah, to be fair, he was taking a lot of punches, but
I think he should have stopped it before that, for that incident anyway.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
And that's what he was going to do, Cam. You looked, he was jumping in to stop it, and then the dude took the step back and dropped to his knee, and he was like, fuck, I'm already stopping it, so I might as well just wave it off.
To be honest, if
But
it
he
would
might
have
have got finished anyway. There was 30 seconds left, so he would have had to get up and last another 20 seconds.
and even if he would have lasted with that knockdown in that round, I would have given it to Kaichov anyway.
Oh, we would have, but not the official scorecard.
That's true.
Me and you would have scored it the same way, 4-4 with
the
a
knockdown.
1 point extra round for Kaichov because it's 10-8.
Yep.
Perez might have scored 10-8 the other way.
Perez needs to go to the opticians, I think.
Yo, but his wife did a good job.
Alright, thanks, Ari. Hamada, is people finished hoovering?
Yeah, it's done. McDonald versus Kameda 2 is signed. And I'm sticking to my guns. McDonald's gonna do it again.
I swear you said during the week that you were picking Kameda.
He did.
Nah, but I changed my mind. I'm back in the flag.
Alright, what's made you change your mind? What made you initially choose Kameda for the rematch, and now what's made you change your mind?
Because I just thought, there was no need for McDonald to take this rematch. So I thought...
Money?
Maybe he's going there for the payday. Maybe so. And Kameda's going to be proper motivated this time. Maybe at first he thought it was like a showcase fight. And then he realized after a while, this guy's not too bad. But I'm going to go with McDonald again. Because I like McDonald, man.
So do I, yeah. I'm backing my flag on that one as well.
It's too late now, isn't it? No one wanted to back it first time round.
Yeah, that's true. It's true.
Another white fighter that I like.
Yeah, there you go. But that's on a Sunday, isn't it?
Yeah, it's on a Sunday.
Sunday evening boxing. That'll be good.
Let's just hope Sky show this one live.
They've got to, because there's nothing else on. It'll be on at 8 o'clock, 8, 9 o'clock.
Is it a daytime card in the States? Is it like a 3-4 o'clock?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Darrell Rubio will be headlining that card.
That's a terrible fight, isn't it?
That's disgusting.
That's a horrible fight. But Rubio versus anyone's a horrible fight now, isn't it?
So Rubio's gone up to 168 now, yeah.
Yeah, he didn't make weight for the Golovkin fight.
Yeah, he was 3 pounds over for the Golovkin fight, right?
He's gonna be food. If Darrell doesn't get rid of him in 4 or 5 rounds, he might be shot.
I think Rubio might give Darrell some problems. Darrell looked like shit in this fight versus Badger Jack. He looked so bad.
It's true, actually. Yeah, it's true.
So if he
I know, and I
performs
got sold on Anthony Durrell. I was
But
high
he's
on
meant to
him.
have. Yeah, you said people said he had power, right, Kev?
Yeah, I heard that firsthand from at least 3 good pros that he had significant power.
Then he's got to get rid of Rubio quick
Yeah.
if he's real.
Or otherwise, people were just friendly with the guy and lying to me.
Yeah, that could happen.
All right, cheers. Chew, any final thoughts?
Yeah. I wasn't on last week, so obviously Golovkin and Lemieux got signed, and I see here that the tickets went on sale. According to Boxing Scene, they can get early tickets, and it broke Ticketmaster, according to Golovkin's promoter. What's his name?
Loeffler, Tom Loeffler.
That's it, Tom Lyer.
Tom Lyerfer.
Tom Lyerfer. You will lie, but he's probably telling the truth in this case. I, just in regards to the fight, because I don't really talk about it. I mean, that's a great fight. I actually like Lemieux's chances. He'll lose, but it's going to be competitive. He's got a chance. The only guy who could beat Golovkin is a puncher like Lemieux. So, that'll be interesting. People are saying it's not a pay-per-view fight. I disagree. I think the one thing you would pay money for is a knockout. And you're pretty much guaranteed a knockout. If that goes to 12 rounds, then, you know what, man, I don't know boxing, and I'll stop doing this shit. So, that'll be a great fight. And I would pay money to see it. And the undercard's gonna be stacked. Roman Gonzalez and others. So that's a great fight. And just another fight that just got signed today. Adrian Broner against, how do I say this guy's name?
Khabib Alec Berdiev.
Alec Berdiev, yeah. I've seen that guy fight, JC Vargas. That was a great fight. I think this guy beat Broner.
He beat him. He beat Vargas. Yeah. He got robbed.
And I think he beats Broner.
Nah, he ain't beating AB. Sorry.
AB shot.
This is a layup.
Hamad is riding with AB right into the grave, bro. He ain't never getting off that train.
This fight's a layup for Broner though. If he wins, he's a 4-weight champ.
It's unbelievable, right? That's
crazy.
why I don't want to hear about titles as like credentials. If Broner's a 4-time champ and never beat anybody really good for a belt, that's crazy.
It's true what I say, the man makes the belt, right? The fighter makes the belt. You're a good champion, you got a belt, it's important. If you're a joke, the belt's a joke.
But this guy hasn't fought since that Vargas fight. That was over a year and a half ago.
All right. Well, it is a layup then, isn't it?
Yeah. It's set up for.
He's probably still lighter. He probably still weighs less.
Is this a 140 belt?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's
it's
belt? Danny's.
No, it's not Danny's. It's the one Vargas. It's the one Vargas gave up.
Vargas the regular.
Yeah, it's the regular one.
So it's a paper belt.
Yeah,
that's a fucking tough fight for a comeback though.
So, what do you think Broner's weighing in about now? 170?
I was just about to say the real fight for Broner is going to be on the scales if he can make 140 again.
Yeah, me too. I said, there's no way the fight's happening at 140. Guy was like, it's a title fight. It's going to be 140. I'm like, it's going to be Al Heyman, 140-ish.
It'll be 142, won't it?
Yeah, 140-ish.
You can't stop for a vacant belt.
Yes, the belt won't be on the line come fight night.
Oh, right. They're going to just fuck the belt off.
Yeah. But it's ridiculous that 2 guys coming off losses are fighting for a belt.
Yeah, it is ridiculous. And it's bad because there might be some guy who we haven't really heard of, but he's won a load of fights and decent fights, and he won't get anywhere near his shot, will he?
Well, I guess the argument is Broner hasn't lost a fight at 140. His loss was at, a catch weight, so it was more 147, so.
But like we said, he's actually lost the fight with 140. and he'll lose it again.
Oh yeah, he already missed weight at 140 against Molina.
Yeah, he needs some Danny weights, doesn't he?
And
Weight watches?
Yeah. He'll just eat twice as much.
all the money Danny Garcia is making, 1.5 million, and you can't hire a fucking nutritionist. Fucking hell. Just one last thing, Cam, because I missed the last couple of weeks. On Boxing Scene, Lou DiBella is saying that Peter Quillen is going to be fighting Daniel Jacobs in the fall. I saw Daniel Jacobs last week. Man, that guy has got no chin whatsoever. Sergio Mora is dropping you, man. Fairness, it was a good punch, but, you know, if Sergio Mora is dropping you, then
you're in trouble.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, you know, Peter Quillen can't even make the weight. But if they make that fight, it'll be probably a catch weight, and I think it's another kind of boring, pointless fight. I think those guys aren't even top 5 middleweights. Maybe Peter Quillen is, but definitely Daniel Jacobs isn't.
I don't know. I think that fight will be alright, you know. I think if that fight gets made, I think it'd be quite entertaining.
But you're right. He ain't going back down to 160. He's going up, I reckon.
You're probably right about that. Yeah.
But, you know, Quillen's in no man's land, because if he goes to 168, he's not going to win anything.
I think he get beaten up there.
Yeah. He's kind of like Arthur Abraham was back in the day.
Yeah, Quillen's only advantage that 160 is being bigger than everybody.
Yep.
Goes up to 168, he's food. He's just a slow guy that's the same size and doesn't carry the biggest power.
Nah, man. Peter Quillen's on animal status.
So who's he fighting? Someone said he's fighting a part-time male stripper. Who's he fighting right now?
Oh yeah, he's announced a horrible fight, hasn't he?
I think he's fighting Australian.
He's fighting like Buff Bagwell or something from WCW.
Buff Bagwell.
He's fighting an Australian who was supposed to fight Kelly Hope. and seriously, not Kelly Hope, sorry, Kerry Hope, and Hope was the favourite for that fight if it was when it was announced.
Oh man!
So
remember when he said big things in 2015?
Is it Michael Zefirova? Something like that.
I think so.
Yeah, that's the one.
1 second.
Yeah, I can't pronounce that name.
Yo, Cage, who said 1.4 is a big payday?
Yeah, I know, because after taxes, you don't get 1.4. So I guess when you get paid $400,000, that doesn't get taxed, man. What the fuck?
Quillen's for this shit.
I don't know, man. He made $2 million last fight, right?
Apparently. According to some reliable sources.
Man, all these human fighters are just like fighting guys who would win you points in Scrabble with their names.
The Z's and the U's.
A lot of Q's and Z's.
What? I mean, there's too much of this stuff going on. I mean, too much in between fights.
Yep.
You know.
And the thing is, he's given so many fights. If he would just give a couple less and each fight had more meaning and more quality, it would be better.
Exactly. I mean, you're diluting it too much. Too many dates, and you don't want your fighters to lose. You can't satisfy both, you know? Something's got to give.
Yep. Anything else, Stu?
Nah, I'm good, man.
Alright, thank you. Thanks to everyone on the show today. Thanks to the people in the chat. And thanks to the people that download the show week in, week out. We'll be back next week. Peace.
You just listened to the Boxing Coalition.
Oh, dude, man, I love boxing. I fucking love boxing.
A big shout out to the Boxing Coalition.
You're a newbie.
No, I ain't new, man.
If my fucking next door neighbour became the #1 flyweight in the world, you know what I'd do? I'd fucking walk past the cunt.
Derek, how you doing, bro?
I was physically banging.
blood.
I disagree.
First time I hear the song, man, it was fucking badass.
Vamos a Argentina, la concha de su madre.
I see the bomb in them. I get home and she's like, what the fuck? Me and the kid are here. Why don't you get home and talk to us? I'm like, man, you guys don't know shit about boxing.
Kel, how does it feel to be the new IBF champion?
It feels great.
Did we really dive into the black hole right off the jump?
I think he's hiding glass.
Just to play devil's advocate.
You want one portion of crow or 2 portions of crow?
Give me 2 portions with a supersized fries and a large drink, please.
I can't stand him, what? I'm Scottish.
Fringe side.
But you won't rush Anthony fucking fat ass Joshua, would you?
He's not fat.
How about you tell us what you weigh for your final thoughts?
My weight?
Thank you for listening to the Boxing Coalition. We are live every Monday, 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. UK time, 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern.